For everybody, our battle was huge, very important.
This is the opportunity that Senna's looking for, and he's going through. Out! Oh my goodness, this is fantastic!
For me, I could not understand Ayrton when he was racing driver. And at the end, I could not understand 100% of how he behaved as a human side.
Worrying about what's happening, and I'm going to give you the time interval now between the completion of this lap for Alain Prost in the lead and Senna, who is in second place. Prost has gone through. The gap was 21 seconds. Lauda looking at Derek Warwick's car, taking an interest in everything all around him, perhaps wanting to delay the moment before he gets back, and we're still waiting for Senna to come through, and here he is. The gap now is down to 18 seconds. So Alain Prost in the lead is being caught quite rapidly. Here is Alain Prost on his 29th lap. Ayrton Senna has got the gap down from 31 seconds to 18.
Yes, this means that at the current rate of progress, Prost is going to have to find another gear, because Senna is catching him quite comfortably enough to do it well before the end of the race, with plenty of time to find a way around him.
Number 7, race leader, Alain Prost, Barbara McLaren, at the rate of 3 seconds a lap. So in 5 laps' time, if he keeps doing it, Ayrton Senna is going to be right with the race leader, with only just over half of the race run at that time.
But I think we are watching the arrival of Ayrton Senna as a truly outstanding talent in Grand Prix racing. The rain is coming down even harder now. We've got a real cloud burst now. But Ayrton Senna has the same tires that Alain Prost is running, the same tires that the other Michelin runners. He's on Michelin tires, and he's catching Alain Prost at something like 3 seconds a lap. And that is a truly staggering performance.
I can't believe that they're going to keep running this race. The conditions are the worst I have ever seen in a long, long time of watching races. Now, here is Prost coming through again, and I'm going to start the stopwatch. 15 seconds was the gap. If Senna is continuing to close at the rate of 3 seconds a lap, Prost is waving his hand. Prost goes through, waving his hand at the officials. He wants to stop the race, and who can blame him? Now, I'm just waiting for Senna to come through, and the gap as Senna goes through, quite dispassionately, is down to 11 seconds. He's taken 4 seconds out of Prost's lead. Prost waved his hand the previous lap, but not this one, and there goes Senna, and it's only 7 seconds now. But as in the French Grand Prix a couple of years ago, the race will be restarted later when hopefully the conditions have improved a bit, although I can't see much likelihood of them doing so. And out is going the red flag. The race is being stopped. There's an official in front of me with a red flag. The Monaco Grand Prix is going to be stopped.
And I was about to say that I felt that Prost had a very big advantage being the lead as a Frenchman when the conditions got this bad, because it is French officialdom, and I think if they stop the race, Tolman and Ayrton Senna will have a very, very reasonable grudge as he goes through, catching Prost hand over fist. And I think that this is what I would call French timing. To be as polite as possible, it does seem to me a bit wrong. And Senna could catch him, but he's got the Ferrari in the way.
Well, there goes Prost into the Rescas corner, chased by Senna in second place, just about 2 or 3 seconds behind him now. There's an official right in the middle of the road now, showing the red flag, and the checkered flag is going out. They are stopping. This is going to be the end of the Monaco Grand Prix with Alain Prost. And Prost is stopping, and crosses the line before he gets there. Now that's amazing. Prost has stopped actually on the line. Senna passed him as he got to the line, but subject to official confirmation, I'm virtually certain that Prost has won with Senna second.
Yes, I think Prost crossed the line just before Senna did, and it will be really a tragic result for Senna. However, he's not about to be world champion this year. He will undoubtedly be world champion in the future if his career continues. So whilst he has every reason and every justification for being very upset, he will he's got a big future.
The Monaco Grand Prix having been dramatically stopped on the 32nd, the end of the 32nd lap, and having been won by Alain Prost, who has therefore now won 3 Grand Prix and finished second in one this year to extend his World Championship lead. A magnificent second, the man you are looking at now, Ayrton Senna, who seems conceivably to think he has won, judging by the way he's waving his hand.
The track was so slippery, so dangerous that I decided to go very slowly. I had some problem with the brakes, and when I've seen that Senna was behind me, he's not current for the championship. He has no point at the moment, so I have already decided that if he was just behind me, I let him pass. It was much better for me to get some points for the championship and do not win the race.
The last series of bends, and now into the last right-hander to cross the line and take the checkered flag to win in Portugal, but ironically and very, very sadly from his point of view, provided Niki Lauda appears in the next 15 seconds or so, and there he is. There is the world champion of 1984. So, victory at the Portuguese Grand Prix, Alain Prost, 7 times the winner. Second, Niki Lauda. Third, Ayrton Senna. Fourth, Michele Alboreto. Fifth, Elio De Angelis. Sixth, Nelson Piquet. But, of course, the season belongs to one team, McLaren, and now to one driver, Niki Lauda, the 1984 world champion.
It's now 3 times. Is the third time better than the other 2?
Yes, it was the most difficult one because Prost was the best guy I had around me, and he was quick and good all the year through, so it was the most difficult championship I ever won.
Alain, you've won 7 races, Niki's won 5, but he's world champion. Do you feel cheated by the system?
No, I don't think so. I think we had so competitive cars this year, so I don't think I'm not world champion because of the rule. I'm not world champion because of the circumstances. I was not very lucky sometimes, but Niki made a fantastic season also, and I'm not so disappointed because I won 7 races, and most of the drivers are not very happy when they don't win 1 race per year. I won 16 races all my career, and I'm always competitive every year, and I'm going to try to win championship next year.
The red and white cars won 12 Grand Prix, and Niki Lauda and Alain Prost finished at the top of the table, half a point apart. But when the Formula One circus assembled for the first 1985 round, the Brazilian Grand Prix in Rio de Janeiro, there was all the unpredictability of a new season. 6 months had passed since the previous race in Estoril, and among the different faces in different cockpits was Lotus newboy Ayrton Senna, who dominated pre-race testing in Rio in the latest Type 97T. But Ferrari, Williams, Brabham, Renault and others also had new cars. And on the grid it was Alboreto's Ferrari and Rosberg's Williams at the front, with the Lotuses on row 2. Back on row 3 was last year's winner, Alain Prost.
see the mechanics jumping on the track. They are very happy, not as happy as me. Alberto is second, and De Angelis is third.
So McLaren had done it again, their 8th consecutive victory, and Alain Prost opened his 1985 account with 9 points. But just as the pundits began to predict another year of McLaren walkovers, round 2 upset the form. It rained. That didn't worry Ayrton Senna.
Well, Ayrton told me, Bob, that he doesn't really love the rain, but he really likes to drive in it. And this is one of the greatest expressions of driving talent, is to be able to handle that machinery in wet, slippery, dangerous conditions.
Very wet Portuguese Grand Prix, where emerged a man called Ayrton Senna. Drove a masterful race, a race that I would have been proud to win. And by doing so, put himself in everybody's mind as the driver to be for the future. Some were even saying the driver of the next decade.
Life, without a doubt. How difficult was the race?
It was very hard race, even more difficult than last year at Monaco, because the conditions were a lot worse than Monaco.
But you took the lead right at the beginning. You caught up in the latter stages to Elio De Angelis and Nigel Mansell. Did you have any problems getting past?
A lot of trouble, because I could not see anything in front of me. With the cars going in front, it was impossible to see anything, and you had to go by, because it was a big difference in the pace that I was going. So it was one of the biggest moments that I had in the race.
Ayrton, a lot of people have been saying that the Lotus was a sprint special, good for practicing, not good for the race, but you've proved them wrong.
Well, I'm very happy to be the one that managed to prove that the Lotus car is not only quick in qualifying conditions, but even in race conditions, although it was wet.
You've demonstrated an enormous amount of tactical ability today. You were thinking your way all through the race, were you?
Yes, of course. It was a hard tactical race, corner by corner, lap by lap, because conditions were changing all the time, even corner by corner. Brake problems, because the carbon disc brakes give some trouble in wet conditions, but apart from that, the car was marvelous. The team have provided me with a fantastic car, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
Prost. Ayrton Senna starts in 4th position and has a great start.
Ayrton Senna takes the lead with Keke Rosberg second. Alain Prost looks like he's inside the car, spun on the first corner. We've had a spin out. And one of the Ferraris, it looks like Johansson's Ferrari is out. One of the Renaults is out. That is Johansson's Ferrari that is off the road. The Renault with the wheel off. Looks like it might be Warwick. We'll have a look in a second. We can't see at this distance. He's driving the car away in the interest of safety. Patrick Tambay. Minardi is the last car up, but there Keke Rosberg comes alongside now. Ayrton Senna taking the fast line now, leaving Keke Rosberg without any draft and aerodynamics as they go through Stowe Corner, the end of Hanger Straight. Head towards Club Corner. This is the first lap of this Grand Prix of Great Britain. Nigel Mansell's well up kick, and Alain Prost is well up. Driving the Nizier Renault, Mansell, Prost and PK making up the 6th top. And look at this race that's going on right now. That is the blue car is the Chesney. Then you've got the Renault in there. Nigel Mansell is in there. And he's dropped back. Nigel Mansell is in the middle of that, so the Chesney is past Mansell, and then you have
fire extinguisher on the road. There on the right is the Minardi. Pierluigi Martini has finally called it a day. Also, so as the remaining few cars seem to drop out like flies, the one reliable McLaren in this race reels off his final lap. This is the Bosch Curva. Out of the Bosch Curva, on down the short straight, past the gouge marks by the side of the road, which were made by Andrea de Cesaris in that dramatic accident, and we have confirmation, incidentally, that he was completely unhurt. Then the panorama, the double downhill left-hander, over the brow, down to the Jochenrit Curva. There, the final corner in sight for Alain Prost. Another Grand Prix victory is going to be his. Out of the Jochenrit Curva he goes. The checkered flag awaits. Here comes Alain Prost to score another Grand Prix victory and to go to the head of the World Championship table. Now, will Alboreto get his third place to maintain his position at the top of the table? There is Ayrton Senna, who scores his first championship points ever since Portugal. He is going to finish second. There is Alboreto, who's going to finish third. Jochenrit Curva for the last time for Ayrton Senna. So, Ayrton Senna does get second place. He does get 6 championship points, and not very far behind Michele Alboreto, who kept trying all the way to the end. Alboreto gets his 4 points to hold what is now a joint World Championship lead. Stefan Johansson.
Fantastic win. In your pit stop, did you ever think you were going to get the lead back again, or could you have caught Lauda?
I think so. I was waiting for the right moment because my tires were fresh, and I knew that Nicky could not be as quick than he was until the end. And my car was much better at the end.
Starting in the spare car like that must have been very difficult.
Yeah, it's very difficult because I did not know if I started in the race car and the T car, and the car was the T car was not as good on my race car, as you can understand. I have changed my mind about the tires just before start. It was very difficult psychologically, but I won, and it's most important.
And what about the World Championship now? Earlier this week you said you wanted to go ahead in points. Well, you're tied with Alboreto, but you must be happy with your position.
I'm happy because the car is fantastic at the moment. It's much better than the others, especially during the race. Nicky is very unlucky, but I think he should win some races until the end of the season, or maybe finish behind me and get some points from Alboreto. And I'm in a much better shape now.
It's unbelievable that you can win in either your race car or your spare car. It's a real endorsement to the team and the whole effort.
Yes, it's very good. That's the force of the team and the power of the team, and I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy. I'm even more happy winning in the T car, especially for the team, for the mechanics.
Ayrton Senna from Brazil walked off with the victory once again under rather poor weather conditions in the Belgium Grand Prix.
And that time he kept his safety belts fastened, at least until he got to the winner's stand.
So Ayrton Senna wins his second Grand Prix in Belgium under also adverse weather conditions.
I think it's fantastic. I think the whole team need a good result such as that. Not just finish the race, but also actually finish in the front. And we had the car to go quick and finish the race today.
The car must have been perfect. There were so many different track conditions, wet to dry to wet to dry. How much of a problem was that for you?
It was the biggest problem to judge your pace. If you try too hard when it was a bit damp, you would go off. If you take too easy, the others would catch you. So it was a big problem to judge the pace that you should take.
You've led so many Grand Prix this year, and there you are, #1 on the victory roster, and you must feel very pleased.
Of course I'm pleased. The only objective for anybody in Formula 1 is to win. And I'm pleased that the team provided me with such a good car and capable to win.
For the very first time in front of the home crowd. Boy, what a happy winner.
Ho, ho, ho. Now we've got to see it. But look at that. Both heads up. Look, no hands, Mum.
For a long time. And we're talking about a 7, 8, 9 second
And there's
victory
Ayrton
salute.
Senna. He's taken second position. Ayrton Senna with the John Players Lotus brings it home into second position. Quite a long way behind.
And coming up is the 1985 World Champion. If he gets around there, he was running in 4th spot when he came by for the next to the last lap. Here he comes.
And he's got a couple more corners to go yet. Alain Prost.
Alain Prost running in the tire tracks of Jimmy Clark, Graham Hill, and the man sitting next to me, Jackie Stewart. What a great moment for this man who has tried so hard for the last 4 years to become the world's champion. And right now, it is just outside of his grasp. It's in his grasp. They're hanging on to the edge of the cliff. Here he comes around the final corners, the Dingle Bell corner, then Stirling's Bend. Now down toward Clark Corner, and here it comes, Jackie.
Through clearways, Alain Prost will raise his hand. The McLaren team will be ecstatic, and there they are there. The Marlboro McLaren team. Mansell, who you saw in the interview at the beginning of this year, he's not in the picture right now. Those are the mechanics who are taking the credit, and well they should, because they've supplied this man, the first Frenchman ever to win the World Championship of Driving.
Alain Prost, many congratulations. How does it feel?
I feel well. I can't feel very happy because it's too soon, and everything was going so bad at the beginning and so well at the end. I never felt very bad in the car because I knew that Alboreto was not very quick. But honestly, I'm very happy to finish the championship here, because especially with this place, and because I had a lot of pressure the last 2 or 3 years at the end of the championship, and I want to go to the last 2 races very quiet, and I want to win. Now I want to win the race.
What does it mean to you to be the first Frenchman ever to win the Grand Prix World Championship, a country that gave us the name Grand Prix?
I know that it is very important for the French people, but I think for me it's important to win a championship. I don't care too much if I'm French or not. I think I'm not too nationalist, it's a shame, but I'm very happy for them anyway, because if the problem is if I'm world champion, it's because of my English team and all the things. I don't want to be too concentrated on one country, because I am world champion. It's all the world is mine. It's not only one country.
You were kind enough to mention the team. What is the secret of McLaren winning 2 world championships in 2 consecutive years?
I think we have. It's difficult to tell. I don't think we have maybe the best car or the best engine. It's difficult to tell that. I think we have the best compromise for sure, because the chassis is very good, the engine is very good. We have a good combination of both. We don't use too much tires. And we have a good politic in the team. We don't change too many things every race, and we have a good reliability. And I think that makes I finish almost every race at the moment, and it's very important.
And how are you going to celebrate tonight?
A championship like that, I'm waiting for a long time. I don't want to be completely crazy one day. I think it's very important for me to celebrate with my friends, but I think the problem is I'm going to have a lot of work in France. And I think I'm going to feel much better after 2 or 3 days, or maybe 1 week, and I will celebrate not only one time.
Alain, congratulations, superb tactical race, and thank you for winning here at Brands Hatch, where you have so many fans.
McLaren still had the reigning world champion, Alain Prost. One-time world champion Keke Rosberg had left Williams to join them, but whether he had timed his move well was in doubt. Because Williams had started doing well again towards the end of the previous year, with Nigel Mansell acquiring a taste for winning. Ex-world champion Nelson Piquet, with no taste for losing, had left Brabham in order to get a car he could rely on, and he also would now be in a tearing hurry. Back in England, recovering from a frightful car crash, Frank Williams would have to watch his 2 drivers fight it out on television. At Lotus, drama had already begun between seasons. Brazil's hot shoe hard man Ayrton Senna had ungenerously said that the team couldn't support 2 stars, so Derek Warwick, who was almost hired, was unhired. Johnny Dumfries was brought in as a slave. With second best service guaranteed, he was on a hiding to nothing. But British aristos are made of steely stuff.
Lap 58 out of 72, and you look down at the battle for the lead between, on the left, Nigel Mansell, Williams. Is he on his way to his 3rd Grand Prix win? Second, in the middle, Ayrton Senna in the Lotus. Third, in the red and white McLaren, world champion Alain Prost. And this is what the race is all about now. There's been an enormous number of retirements. Dumfries, Lafitte, Brundle, Alboreto, Arnoux, Piquet, Streff, Danner, Johansson, Patrese, Jonathan Palmer and Alan Jones. But the race hasn't lost excitement and interest for 1 second. Senna is now...
I'll give him more than 3 or 4 more laps, because he's got to start doing something about making a move himself, as he's running out of laps. But I expect he'd like to see them sort themselves out first.
Senna going for it. He'll never get past on the outside. And he knocked up his tyres. Nigel, I'm surprised at Senna doing that. It's all right to go for it, but he's had to lock up his tyres. It's not inconceivable that he might have flat-spotted them, which would throw the Matteo, Fabi and Berger, and there is Senna trying again. And onto the grass goes Senna. Out of the pit comes Rosberg.
Well, amazing they survived that. I'm afraid the director switched off at the worst possible moment. We lost the picture, but both cars in it, so battle really is taking place. And Prost, I think, is wisely just sitting off this a little, giving himself enough room to take evasive action in case they do tangle, because Mansell really shut the door hard then, and Senna had to take to the grass to avoid it, but they both emerged. Tremendous stuff. This is really hard racing.
So they could both go off and let Prost through into the lead. And again, Senna tries. Again, Mansell will have nothing of it. This is lap 61. Something's got to give. There's still 12 laps to go, 11 laps to go.
Great coming up past the pit, but to do that a few too many times. Senna climbing all over the back. He's having a look, and he's inside Mansell. And he certainly was going for the opportunity in there. Of course, Prost is lurking, ready to pick up the pieces of any indiscretion or mistake.
Mansell is grimly enjoying this, because this time, being in the lead, he's got the whip hand, and Senna is through! Senna is through, and Prost is through! Incredible! As I say that, in the twinkling of an eye, Nigel Mansell goes from first to third. Senna is back in the lead, and can Prost catch him?
Yes, and still unfortunate for Mansell, but that's the price you pay, because Senna squeezed him and he fought for that position. There he is, and he didn't give way, but that lost him momentum out of the corner because he had to back off, and that, of course, carried Prost through. Had Nigel admitted the corner before, and Mansell's in the pit.
This is it. Mansell has decided that he'd been hanging on tired rubber. Now that he's lost the place, he's got fresh tyres on again. Between Senna and Mansell, which I remind you was 8.7 seconds. There is Senna across the line, and Mansell and Prost come out of the hairpin absolutely together, and Mansell is going through to take second place. No, he's not. Now on the inside. 6.23 seconds is the gap between Senna and Mansell.
Well, of course, with so much more grip than Prost and, of course, Senna when it comes to it, Mansell really shouldn't find overtaking nearly as big a problem as it has been in the past. But he missed getting past Prost as they started the lap going into turn 1, and he's now got to wait, and this is valuable lost time for him.
3 laps to go at the end of this one. 3 laps each of 2.6 miles, 4.2 kilometres, and this is Mansell's chance as Senna exits from turn 15. 6.2 seconds was the gap between Senna and Mansell, and Mansell's through, I can tell you that. There he is. Mansell is second. Nigel Mansell coming out of turn 13, now on turn 14. Up to turn 15 and 16, and then into the pit straight. I've started the stopwatch on Ayrton Senna. The gap between Senna and Mansell was 6.2 seconds. The gap is now a whisker over that, because Mansell and Prost were slowing each other up. But now Mansell will know that only Senna is between him and his third Grand Prix win. So he's clear. Is Mansell going to get past as easily? Here is Senna, starting lap 72, the last lap of the Spanish Grand Prix, and Mansell is now 1.57 seconds behind him.
He's going to catch him soon, so going to be a right scramble all the way around the last lap. Another 3 or 4 corners. Senna with the big advantage of being in front, but Mansell with the advantage of fresh tyres and a considerably greater degree of grip.
So into the last stages of the Spanish Grand Prix, they're coming down to the S's now, with 10 mile an hour turn 10 into turn 11, and Mansell could conceivably take Senna coming out of the hairpin on the final approach to the last straight of the Spanish Grand Prix. It's all going to depend on the exit from turns 14 and 15, which they're approaching now. Then into turn 16, the hairpin. It's going to be one of the closest Grand Prix finishes, whatever happens. Senna moves across. He's keeping Mansell back, and he wins. Mansell won't like that any more than he likes at Brazil, but there is no doubt about the fact that Senna was taking advantage of the fact that he's got a clear circuit in front of him to keep Mansell back, and Ayrton Senna has won his 3rd Grand Prix in the Lotus here at Spain today by, what, a car's length or even less from Nigel Mansell. A brilliant drive.
I saw him coming very quick, and I realized he had stopped and had new tires, and I had no tires at all, and so I had to really push with no grip. I had to really play around and slide around to try to keep some good speed, and then was very dangerous. I nearly lost the car, maybe 2 laps from the end in one corner. The car went sideways. I thought I lost, and then it came back.
Mansell in defeat was generous to Senna.
No, I mean, when you are leading the race, you are entitled to try and hold the next person up. I think he drove very, very well today, and he didn't shut the door on me. And as you could see at the finishing line, I was right alongside, and I think it was so close. I think they should give us 7.5 points each.
And it's 78 laps to go, and it's go. Good start by Prost. Senna going through on the inside, now into Santovos. Watch the back of your picture to see that they all get through safely. They're okay so far. It looks as though we're not going to have a repeat of the last years, thank heavens. And it's Prost leading. Senna is in 2nd position. Mansell is in 3rd place. Alboreto is in 4th place. And they stream round Massenet into the Casino Square. Now they're dropping down the hill, and that was a good visually. This is lap 27. That is the race leader, Alain Prost, and he's coming past us very shortly. The gap, Alain Prost is leading now by some 9 seconds as he goes down to La Rascasse. There is Ayrton Senna in 2nd position, and Keke Rosberg is charging very hard indeed. Start the stopwatch on Ayrton Senna. Rosberg is now 2.7 seconds behind Senna. There, number 12. Mansell is down to 4 into the pits. Prost is into the pits. There he is. Now, he was leading by 16 seconds. I am watching for Ayrton Senna. That's a super stop. That's about 9 seconds. And as Prost exits, there is Senna. Senna is going past as Prost exits the pits. It's anybody's guess, and I wish they'd show us some pictures about who is going to be leading at the end of this lap. Are on their way, and there is Senna. There is Prost, so Senna leads. Now on lap 36, Ayrton Senna, the Brazilian in the Lotus with the Renault engine, is in the lead, and there is Alain Prost. You can see the gap for yourselves, but don't forget that Prost is on new rubber and Senna is... Of course, Ayrton Senna will have... I don't know that Ayrton Senna will have to come in. He started this race with 2 Bs at the back. I'm sorry to be so technical about the tyres, but it really is crucial to what's happening in this race. Ayrton Senna started with C compound tyres on the front and B compound, which are harder, on the rear. So it is by no means inconceivable that Ayrton Senna could go through the whole race without changing tyres. Well, there he goes. Now, where is Prost? There he is. These laps is keeping ahead of Senna who's now, of course, as you could well see for yourselves, got Prost right behind him. First and second, Martin Brundle exiting the picture. Now Prost could attack as they approach and then exit the tunnel as they come down to the chicane. Prost on the new heated, now thoroughly heated rubber. Looks as though he's going to try and go through on braking for the chicane. It is possible to get through there. Very difficult, but possible. But Senna saved him off. Now accelerate away, and this is Prost's chance. He can, if he gets close enough, take Senna on the approach to Vanderbilt. He's going to try and go around on the outside. But Senna moves across, takes his racing line and keeps ahead.
Yes, Prost being very careful, very sensibly careful, because he's well in charge of the situation. He knows that Senna can't hold him off forever, but he's not going to take any risks. Senna's a hard man. We've seen him make life very difficult for overtaking drivers. There he is, taking the inside line, fending Prost off, giving him no chances of attacking him on the winning line into the corner. So Senna stated his intentions. He's going to play a blocking game, but he can't block him forever.
He's visibly having a bit of tyre trouble as his car moves about on the course, and Prost is harrying him all the time.
Yes, Prost should be able to get more traction out of the Rascasse as they go onto the pit straight. Senna's coming in. So Senna has clocked it. He realises that he can't maintain the situation forever, and this puts Prost really in command of the race. Prost is now in what will be a very comfortable lead.
Fastest this morning in the final half hour of practice on full tanks. Winner in 85, winner in 84. Rounds the Rascasse for the last time. Watch the McLaren mechanics as he rounds the last corner, and they go berserk with pleasure. And Alain Prost has won the 1986 Monaco Grand Prix in a canter. Rosberg will be second. Ayrton Senna third.
Senna once again went all out for the pole. Mansell did his best not to let the Brazilian get a swelled head, but when Senna's time was signalled to Prost, he couldn't believe it. But even Senna found the circuit a bit of a sweat.
I think Detroit is not the best circuit because it's too bumpy and you run between the walls. It's good to be on pole here, but the race is going to be very hard, tough, long race, and I hope we can have a good fight, a clear fight, and a good show for all the public.
When you hit ons, know it's game time. And you know me and my bros on the same time. No brakes, green light. No brakes, I got the green light. When you hit ons, know it's game time. And you know me and my bros on the same time. No brakes, green light. No brakes, I got the green. We gon' tear it down, tear it down, tear it down, yeah. We ain't going out, we ain't going into town, no. Money ain't the mission, no, we coming for the crown, yeah. Yeah, we coming for the crown. If we going out, then we going out loud, eh. Putting on the show, young man, take a bow, eh. Even under pressure, they ain't never had doubt. But if we gon' do it, gotta do it right now. But if we gon' do it, gotta do it right now. When you hit ons, know it's game time. And you know me and my bros on the same time. No brakes, green light. No brakes, I got the green light. When you hit ons, know it's game time. And you know me and my bros on the same time. No brakes, green light. No brakes, I got the green light. We gon' tear it down, tear it down, tear it down, yeah. We ain't going out, we ain't going into town, no. Money ain't the mission, no, we coming for the crown, yeah. Yeah, we coming for the crown. If we going out, then we going out loud, eh. Putting on the show, young man, take a bow, eh. Even under pressure, they ain't never had doubt. But if we gon' do it, gotta do it right now. When you hit ons, know it's game time.
Anyway, second place is not bad, but I think now for the championship will be very difficult. But I'm very pleased for Nigel. I think he really deserved it this year.
That means you concede the World Championship, yes?
I mean, I will fight until the end. But I must admit that to be realistic, I think Nigel is world champion today, but it's not finished yet.
The story so far, now what's the last chapter going to hold in Adelaide? There's Nelson Piquet, who's alongside Nigel Mansell on the front row of the grid in Adelaide. Mansell is on pole, and that world title beckons.
And the news from Adelaide is that the weather conditions, which were very good yesterday, are not so good today. And I now welcome viewers in Britain to the BBC coverage of this Australian Grand Prix, which, as I say, is going to be the one that will decide the World Championship, the most important race of the year. Nelson Piquet and Mansell together. And it's go, and a superb start from Nigel Mansell. Senna goes through into second place ahead of Piquet. The two McLaren slot in behind them into the chicane. Is anybody going to go off this year? It looks to me as though they're bunching up well and getting through. No problems at the chicane, and Senna is challenging for the start, and he goes through, and he takes the lead. Senna takes the lead on the right-hander at Wakefield Turn. Now up to East Terrace Bend, the left-hand hander. It's Senna, Mansell, Piquet, and the McLaren going through ahead of the Williams, and coming towards us, it is Ayrton Senna in the lead. It is Piquet second. It is Rosberg in third position. Mansell is down to 4th position. Well, there's a turn-up for the book, because Nigel Mansell has lost his lead and Gerhard Berger is well up. And look at the way that the first 3 are breaking away. Senna, the Williams and the McLaren absolutely together, and Piquet going through and trying to take Senna. One Brazilian passes another, and we've got a 3rd leader before even 1 lap has been completed. And it is Piquet, Senna, Rosberg, Mansell and then Prost. And improves his chances of catching Nelson Piquet. Mansell still in 4th position. Arnoux moves over. Prost goes through. The gap you can see between Nelson Piquet in 2nd place and Alain Prost in 3rd position. Still with Mansell 4th. Still with Senna 5th. Still now with Johansson in 6th position. So the Ferraris are going much better. Is still 5th. Stefan Johansson again in the points in the Ferrari, unlike his teammate Michele Alboreto. And Johansson has been fired. What a travesty of justice. In 7th position, Philippe Strait. 8th, Riccardo Patrese. 9th, Gerhard Berger. And off speeds Piquet. Wowee! Now, Piquet goes off. Prost goes through. Now we have the 2 McLarens, 1st and 2nd. Rosberg leads and Prost is 2nd. This could change the race.
And Mansell went through, so that's...
by Nigel Mansell, and Prost is into the pits. Alain Prost on lap 33 is into the pits for his expected tyre change at about the right time. And this is a bad change by modern standards. Over 17 seconds, Alain Prost, and that is not good. That could be critical. I know we say that's not a good stop. Over 17 seconds to change all 4 tyres and wheels. That's bad. And in fact, it's incredible. But by Grand Prix standards, it is not good enough, because the Williams team have done it in under 7 seconds. Nevertheless, Alain Prost, that you look at now, on new boots, has rejoined the Australian Grand Prix on lap 33 out of 82 in 4th position.
Of overtaking, but he's now right on his tail. This is the closest he's been. So this is where Mansell's got to keep really cool, because it's more important to be smooth than to be fast on this stage, because a mistake, getting a corner wrong, of course, will allow, if he's a bit slow out of a corner, that gives Prost the chance to swoop past. So he just wants to be smooth.
Rosberg out! Keke Rosberg is out of the Australian Grand Prix. If this isn't a sensation, I would like to know what is. The man who won last year has retired in the lead. He must be bitterly disappointed, and now the World Championship is indeed wide open. There's the reason. Look at the flapping right rear Goodyear on Keke Rosberg's McLaren. A smashed tyre, and out of the race goes the Finn.
And that means that Nigel Mansell only has to finish now to be world champion. That has just about good. And as we were watching that, Prost has got past Mansell there. You just saw him going around the hairpin in the background. There is Nelson Piquet. So Piquet leads the race, but 3rd place is good enough for Mansell. Mansell can now afford to slow right down and just finish. He is miles ahead of Stefan Johansson, who's in 4th place.
Just as Niki Lauda did last year in the McLaren. What bitter, bitter disappointment for him. He may have been prepared to move over. And look at that! Out that, and colossally, that's Mansell! That is Nigel Mansell, and the car absolutely shattered. He's fighting for control, but you can see what's happened. Mansell is out of the race. Now, this could change and will change the World Championship.
What an absolute tragedy for Mansell. Obviously, the tyres went at almost the same time as Keke Rosberg, so there's a wear problem. Piquet must be made aware of that by radio.
A World Championship and race-winning situation, and would score 72 points, and into the pits goes the Williams.
And I would have been more surprised if his team didn't call him in, because they will have seen on a TV monitor that 2 people have lost these tyres. Nelson was running the same tyres, and so Prost is now favourite to win the World Championship. If he can hold on, I don't remember that Prost has already changed tyres quite a long time ago. So Prost now leads the Australian Grand Prix and, at the moment, the World Championship on points. If he can hold on.
Prost is virtually within sight of his 25th Grand Prix, his second World Championship, an absolutely superb achievement. You have seen the crowd rising to this popular little Frenchman who has demonstrated yet again that he's the driver of the day, and he takes the checkered flag. He wins the Australian Grand Prix. He wins the World Championship of 1986. Absolute euphoria in the McLaren pit, and Alain Prost stops immediately. I wonder if that means he was so low on fuel that he had to stop. Look at him, he can hardly believe it himself. Alain Prost, the quiet, softly spoken Frenchman, receiving the plaudits of the crowd, and my goodness, they deserve. But let us not forget, in the joy of the occasion for this victory for Alain Prost, the bitter cup of Nigel Mansell, who has had the World Championship dashed from his hands. That's Tim Wright in the glasses, Alain Prost, race engineer. Let us not forget the bitter disappointment for Keke Rosberg, who might well have won the race. And let us too sympathise with Nelson Piquet, who failed to win the World Championship for the third time. Now, that means to say that Alain Prost goes down in history as having won the World Championship 2 years in succession.
I believe, it's fantastic. I knew that it was possible. I was always confident. I was confident about my car, about my team. They've done a fantastic job, but I knew that I need luck, a little bit of luck to win this championship, and I had some luck today. So it's really fantastic. But that's my luck. I'm very sorry for them, for Keke, because he has done a fantastic race, especially the beginning, and very, very hard first lap. It was fantastic, and I knew that he could help me, so I was very confident. I was very pleased that he was leading the race, and also I'm very sorry for Nigel, because I know how it is to lose the championship as the last race, and I'm very, very sorry for him. It must be very hard.
At McLaren, Alain Prost had already been champion twice, and after a disappointing 1987, the team was strong again and were looking for a teammate for Prost. Most wanted Nelson Piquet, but Prost had other ideas.
I said, why Nelson? If you want to make a strong team, take the best. Take the youngest, take the one for the future, take Ayrton. And they all looked at me. I said, why do you want to take Ayrton? I said, for the interest of the team, take Ayrton.
I think McLaren, it's a very professional team, and they have proved over the past few years that they have been very successful. They have had two top drivers most of the time working together, and they've been capable of giving both drivers the same possibility technically to have good results. They have, of course, in Alain Prost, one of the best, if not the best driver in Formula One, very successful. And of course, for me to arrive in a new team as a newcomer, to work together with a twice world champion, so successful driver, it's going to be a big challenge.
Pole position on the grid, Ayrton Senna. And in the warm-up today, and the warm-up is the final half hour of practice when you see cars in actual race condition for the first time, Senna was also fastest. Champion Alain Prost, twice over, third on the grid, fourth in the warm-up this morning. Senna in the McLaren in pole position had some sort of major problem. Up went his hands, and that usually signifies that he'd stalled the engine. We don't know. but we do know that Ivan Capelli in the March had got smoke pouring out of the back. It looked as though he wasn't going to start, and Oscar Larori, the Argentine driver in the Eurobrunn, had got a major problem as well. So the start was aborted, and let's hope they get away this time. P4 was tremendously fast at Imola in the testing, and it's away. The 1988 Grand Prix season is on, and Nigel Mansell leads down towards the first right-hander, but not for long, because Prost is up into second place. There's the Ferrari striking sparks. Berger challenging Nigel Mansell, and then Nelson Piquet in the yellow Lotus. So it is now Prost, Mansell, Berger, Piquet. Boutsen is up into fifth place. Behind him, Nannini in sixth position. The normally aspirated engine cars are already going well, and Alain Prost, a tremendously experienced 28 times Grand Prix winner, is making a break for it. If he can build a cushion, he's going to be in a commanding position. Tyre wear in this race means they'll stop at least once.
And is go absolutely flat chat to try and keep enough space. And there you can see the throttle lag effect then on Senna as he was shaken about in the car as the pad shows when to come in, and Senna makes it past. So Ayrton Senna moves up into fifth place.
Before this race began, but how marvellously he has competed, going up from 26th now to 5th position. Now he can see Nelson Piquet in front of him. Piquet will know he's there. Senna is going through. 4th position for the McLaren of Ayrton Senna, and he disposed of Nelson Piquet with absolutely no problem. It's the turbo, and Senna, that's number 12. Senna is being shown the black flag. This is amazing. I don't know the reason. Senna sees the black flag, and that means you've got to come in. What an awful... Well, it's not a dilemma for Senna, because there is no argument. If they show you the black flag, that's it. Well, Senna black flag, I don't know why. He's ignored it on the first lap. Now he's come in. The car looks perfectly okay to me. James, any thoughts?
Well, I would think it go back to the start of the race would be more likely. I couldn't see anything wrong that they did in the pits during his stop. So maybe he infringed a regulation then. After all, the cars had been flagged away on the green flag on the warm-up lap, and he came in and then he went to switch cars. And it could well be that that is not allowed, as the race in some ways is technically underway. He started the race in his race car, and therefore it's too late to make a change. That's the only thing that I can think of. Very, very impressive debut for the new McLaren. There was a bit of a panic getting the car ready. They were sort of changing and modifying the design right up till the last minute. Over the last month, the McLaren team have burnt a great deal of midnight oil to get this car out, and it went beautifully straight out of the box, and it's a tremendous achievement to have got it, to get it to the finish line in its debut race when they were still really testing the car during practice this weekend. And another fine, masterly drive by Alain Prost.
Prost is on his way to a magnificent 5th Brazilian Grand Prix victory in 8 years, and he takes it. Alain Prost wins for McLaren. The double world champion stops.
Also very lucky today, for sure. But I think it's not only because of me. I think it's also because of my team, because they're able to build fantastic cars and just put the cars on the track 1 or 2 weeks before the race and then be able to win the race. So it's I think I know the track very well, and I don't do too many mistakes, but I think their ability to build cars and be competitive very quickly is unbelievable.
The Grand Prix scene returns to Europe in the blazing heat of the Côte d'Azur, here at Paul Ricard for round 7 of the World Championship of 1988, the French Grand Prix. On form then, it has to be Prost or Senna for victory today, and Prost means to be number 1 on his home ground.
And away, good start by Alain Prost. Everybody has got away cleanly. Now down to it's Prost leading, Berger second, Senna in third position, Alboreto in fourth place, Nelson Piquet in fifth position. He's bringing up the back. The two McLarens are leading. It's Prost in first position and place by 1.2 seconds to be exact. Michele Alboreto is now half a minute behind them in third position. Berger is up into fourth place. Piquet is down to fifth. Nannini is sixth. Nakajima is seventh, ahead of Mansell 8th, Chiva 9th, Capelli 10th, De Cesaris is 11th. They are all on the back of Patrese car. Here he is, Ayrton Senna, rejoining the race, and he is still in second position. Just checking to see where Alboreto coming in now. So Senna is definitely in second place as Alboreto comes in to change tyres, Berger having already done so.
Yes, that probably means that Prost will be in on the next lap but one, to give the team a chance to, as it were, get Senna out and tied it up and get ready for Prost.
Let's watch him and see how his time compares. If it's anything around 10 seconds, he should come out just in the lead. Those Union Jacks in the foreground are at the Williams pit. That looks like a good one to me. Spoke too soon. Well, that's just about it, and Senna has gone through. Senna has gone through and taken the lead. Here is Alain Prost. He's got to do it now. Now the fight is well and truly on lap 37. It's that Courbe de Seine. It's nearly about 180 miles an hour, believe it or not, that they take that corner at. Now he's round La Tour. Well, I remind you, it was 1.9 seconds, then it was 1.1 seconds. They're coming through to complete their 47th lap in this 80-lap race. Senna now, Prost now, gap 1.5. Senna closing up on Yannick Dalmas in the Lola, locks up his tyres. Has he flat-spotted them? If he has, that will disturb the balance of the wheels and the car. Followed by Cappy, there's Piquet, then Senna, and then Alain Prost. And Piquet gets the car almost sideways.
Looked like he locked his rear brakes and he was a bit all over the place and took Senna a little bit by surprise, in fact. But Senna is in... Piquet's going to block Senna. It looks like he's making Senna go the long way around. And Senna is through. So Piquet successfully negotiated, and he then, of course, helped Prost and let him go. Prost came down the inside, and Prost has got inside Senna, and Prost caught Senna by surprise there. Brilliant piece of driving by Alain Prost. He took the advantage. He was quicker through the fast corner. Senna, I think, was still thinking about Piquet and what had gone on, and wonderful piece of opportunism driving, and that really is... Yes, revenge for Canada for Alain Prost, where Senna did that to him. And when Prost finally got by him, we saw the result that Senna had, in fact, been living in a bit of a fool's paradise, because Prost had such a huge field advantage. So there he is.
There is Alain Prost with both arms out of the cockpit, full of joy at having won the French Grand Prix, to increase his World Championship lead with his 32nd Grand Prix victory, his fourth of 1988. And we wait now as the Ferrari comes through of Michele Alboreto. He has been lapped, but he's in third place. And we're waiting now for Ayrton Senna to come through. And there he is, Ayrton Senna, finishing the French Grand Prix, just coasting across the line. He's going to pull in and stop almost immediately.
I think I was a little bit quicker all around through the track. Not very much, but it was quite easy to stay behind him. So I was already very confident because I was waiting for the good moment to overtake him, but it was not easy.
Alain did a good race and a good victory for him. But
Up until the moment, I think both cars were very similar. We had a good fight, and I think I drove my best. And I believe that from the next races, if we both have similar cars with no problem for any of us, we should have very exciting races, even more than this one.
I was a little bit more confident because I was a little bit quicker in the race. So when I had 3 or 4 seconds advantage, and then I lost in 1 lap 2 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds. But I was not very worried because I could stay on front quite easily. But also I had this good opportunity, and it's good for the future because it makes me maybe more confident for the next race.
Yeah. Turn me up. Yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm on the way up. 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 Been a long, long time coming, but I'm on the way up. Been a long, long time coming, but I'm on the way up. 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 Been a long, long time coming, but I'm on the way up. Been a long, long time coming, but I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I remember being down bad. Now y'all gotta pay up. Put your money where your mouth at. Ain't got time to wait up. Wait up. I just take down for it. It's a layup, never need a rebound for Lamborghinis and Balenciagas. If you see me, it's a problem. Baddest woman and they dripped in pride. I'm so high up I can't see the bottom. Lamborghinis and Balenciagas.
We will have good fun from now on.
Fight, maybe we fight outside the car.
I think it's gonna get more and more exciting, the championship.
Is it possible to be equal? The championship?
No.
Shit.
Can only be one winner.
I'm on the way up. 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 Been a long, long time coming, but I'm on the way up. Been a long, long time coming, but I'm on the way up. Gotta do it for my day ones. Gotta do it till the pay comes. Niggas are showing me fake love, but I love it when the hate comes. Try to end me, but I ain't done. Shine hard when the rain's done. I never settle for second place, so how you gonna tell me that I ain't the one? Lamborghinis and Balenciagas. If you see me, it's a problem. Baddest woman and they dripped in pride. I'm so high up I can't see the bottom. Lamborghinis and Balenciagas. If you see me, it's a problem. When you see me, it's a problem. I'm so high up. Woo, woo, woo. I'm on the way up. 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 Been a long, long time coming, but I'm on the way up. Said it's been a long, long time coming, but I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. Yeah, I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. Yeah, been a long, long time coming, but I'm on the way up. Been a long, long time coming, but I'm on the way up.
Takes the checkered flag. But this is where we would really have expected Prost to come in and win. It was a dry race, just his sort of circuit, but no, Senna's done it. Fantastic drive.
I didn't do a good start. I had poor traction, very, very low grip, and Alain got a bit better. Then we were a bit close at the first corner. As I was inside, I thought it was safer for me to save the situation. We wouldn't have any problem right away. So he took the first corner, and then I chased him all the way on the straight, and being behind I had a big slipstream, and I came behind quicker, and we just came side by side going up the hill, and I was at the inside, so I took the lead then.
Alain said if he didn't win here, then he's lost the championship. Is it giving you a good feeling now that you may well be world champion?
I am closer than ever to achieve it, but it's not finished yet. Mathematically it's possible between me and him, and I just have to carry on my work the same way I have done the whole year, and try to make my best with the car, and hopefully we'll get there.
And if you could have stayed ahead of Ayrton, do you think you could have won the race or not?
No, not today. I think later in the race, I think I could have stayed had him maybe 20 laps, I mean maximum, but not more anyway. I think the setup I chose for the race was wrong, and when the track started to be slippery, I had a very poor grip and I had a very low wing, and I don't know if it's the only reason, but I was not very good today, and I think he was much quicker.
Do you feel the championship is over?
Yes, I think it's over. I mean, there's no point to believe that I can win all the races. Ayrton is very quick, even more motivated than he was at the beginning of the year. So there's no reason to. I'm not stupid.
And not disappointed either, it appears.
No, it's even better. I think it's because we have less pressure. I mean, I'm quite happy for him. He's a nice guy. He's a fantastic driver, and he deserves to be world champion at least once. I mean, he's going to be this year, and then we have both less pressure from the media, from everybody, and it's going to be good.
Fun next year.
Huh?
It's going to be more fun next year.
Exactly, more fun next year. We are going to work together at the end of the year. I mean, try to improve the atmospheric engine, and it's good to have a good relation in the team. We are part of a fantastic environment with McLaren and Honda engine, and I mean, it's not only our fight, you know, you have to think about also the other people working in the factory, and for them it's also fantastic. So I think I've been twice world champion, and if I was 3 times world champion this year, being lucky by winning some races like Monaco, for example, I think it won't be good. I mean, I prefer like this, it's correct logic.
So, here we go again. And again, Prost is up, and Prost moves to the left to try and crowd Senna out. Senna is right up alongside as they go into turn 1, and Ayrton Senna takes the lead, as he did on the second start. McLaren leads, McLaren second, Capelli well up in third place, Berger in fourth position. Sweeping down now into turn 3.
It's going to be interesting to see what Prost can do about Senna being in front of him, because Prost certainly seems to be in very good form here, but he wasn't as brave as Ayrton Senna into the first corner. He was a little bit early on the brakes, and Prost having a look, and Senna's crowding him into the pit wall, and Prost is on, I would think, full boost, and Prost goes through to take the lead. Prost is much happier with the setup of his car than Ayrton Senna has been this weekend, and it'll be interesting to see if Prost can in fact start to build up any sort of a lead.
That was an inspired bit of driving by Alain Prost. I said earlier on that the Frenchman has not given up this season. Whoever thought he would? 32 Grand Prix wins, more than anybody else.
But lucked in rather here at Portugal, cruising to a fantastic victory, and he was on his last lap. And the Honda flags were about to come out along with the checkered flag as Alain Prost took victory and a 5-point lead in the World Championship at this stage in the season.
This, of course, means he's still in the hunt for the championship. He can still do it if he gets enough wins. So let's hope they'll have a go.
Scoreline: Senna 7, Prost 5, and Prost was not happy with his teammates' tactics.
Yeah, I was very surprised, because normally, especially the first lap, when you do that with your teammates, you don't have a big problem like this. But I don't understand. He should have some reason to do it. But that's a problem between him and me, and I don't want to tell anything bad, because I think we should solve the problem very quickly. It's no problem at all.
The focus of attention was on the McLaren duo. Alain Prost was still in with a chance of the World Championship, but if Ayrton Senna should win here in Japan, then he would take the World Championship crown. And of course, through all this tension, they still had to work together in the same team, pooling their information. Once again, however, Ayrton Senna was fastest in qualifying to claim pole position. Alain Prost joined him as usual alongside on the front row.
Time of enormous stress. Now it's got to be going less than 7 seconds, and it is. Senna gets away. Prost, fantastic. Senna left on the grid, and they go flying past it, and this has given Prost an enormous advantage. Berger second, Capelli third, and it looks like Warwick up into fourth position at the arrows, and Senna has really got himself a problem now.
Disastrous start for Ayrton Senna. Berger really charging, having a go, chasing Prost, but that has absolutely put the race into Prost.
Prost leads, Berger second, Capelli third, and a sensational start with Ayrton Senna down in 14th place. He has got it all to do. 1 lap completed, 50 laps to go, and Ayrton Senna is now starting to carve his way through the field. In the turbocharged Ferrari is in 4th position.
Senna is getting close to him, and Senna is going to challenge for the lead. So Prost will have to go up the inside of Senna. Ayrton Senna has got the lead. And that was exactly as we predicted as a possible situation. The traffic definitely held Alain Prost up, and Prost will be pretty upset with a lot of other cars spinning off. And this is certainly well deserved. Ayrton Senna has beaten Alain Prost fair and square over the season, but Alain Prost behaved like the true champion that he is in putting up a truly wonderful fight for the championship and made Senna work every inch of the way and show his class. So a great achievement. Ayrton Senna, the new world champion.
Ayrton Senna crosses the line, and you can see his exultation. He knows he is the world champion of 1987. Both hands off the wheel. This man, who is usually very quiet and calm in the cockpit, reaches his hands up to lift his visor. Alain Prost crosses the line in 2nd position, and that is another first and second.
But Prost hesitated, he got boxed in behind the traffic, Senna didn't, and he was through to become the new world champion. Let's go with him now in his final lap.
So I got going there on the last lap, and I was talking then to my engineer, Steve Nichols, how many laps to go, as I knew was 1 lap, but I wasn't sure, so I asked him, he confirmed me back on the radio at this point as we are looking now. And I asked again, you know, is it really 1 lap? And he confirmed back, and I wasn't so sure if, I couldn't believe it was the last lap, in fact. And so after then from there on, I just kept driving as careful as I could and looking at everything that I could see, but quite cool in a way. I was really cool, not relaxed, very tense, but very cool. And I had the car all working well, everything was in perfect conditions. So I was just trying to keep within myself all the feelings that I always had, really low profile, and not allow it to go out and maybe make me go mistake. There I look on the hairpin, where were the cars behind me, just to be safe, be away from them. And I was clear, so there was no danger at all. And there I come then for 2 corners just before the back straight, and just trying to make sure nothing funny goes wrong, and just carry on. I knew I was gonna make at that stage, because even if the engine dies there, I would make to the finish line, so I had just to stay on the circuit. And very careful there, quite slow, as the last time I gone through the quick corner, and coming up to the chicane now, making sure I wouldn't overshoot the chicane and go through. So, like all the other laps over the curves, and then that was it. I knew it. So you can see I was just going for it, and all the feelings that I was talking before just gone out there, just in one go. All the joy and all the not so good feelings, because I fought so hard for this, so everything just went out like I never did before, and I was really over the moon. And I was on the radio then there with Steven saying we did it, in some special English words which I'm not gonna say here, but we did it and we got it. We got it. I can't believe, and I don't know what to say. It was just a marvelous feeling.
A tremendous moment then for Ayrton Senna as he savoured that feeling of a job perfectly accomplished, his 8th win of the year and the World Championship crown. For Thierry Boutsen, his 6th third place of 1988, but for Alain Prost, a confirmation that he wouldn't be world champion this year in spite of all his great efforts.
When Ayrton missed a start, I was quite sure to have an easy race. The car was good and no fuel problem, and then I started to have a gearbox problem, and the traffic was also very bad. I was 12 seconds ahead of Ayrton, and then I lost almost everything in 2 laps. And then I catch another 3 cars, and I had a gearbox problem, exit of the chicane, and Ayrton could overtake me, and I kept my line, and it was very dangerous to try to stay in the middle of both cars. And I mean, that reflects the race and the whole season. I lost too much time when in traffic, and I was quite good. I mean, quite quick in the race. If I had no gearbox problem, could have been possible. But the weather did not help me. Also, Ayrton in this condition is a little bit quicker, and I did not want to take risk at the end when this condition came back. And that's it. I mean, this have to be world champion to win this race and to be world champion.
And so to the teams, a record 20 contesting the 1989 World Championship, led once again by McLaren, where teammates Senna and Prost were at least passing the occasional word.
Well, I feel that we have a very close competition so this year, looks like, and that makes much more exciting for everybody. Maybe too much for us, but I think competition is good, and we'll have harder work this year at McLaren to develop our car in order to try to maintain the edge that we had last season.
Mansell may lead the Drivers' Championship ahead of Prost, Gugelmin, Herbert, Warwick and Nannini, and Ferrari may lead McLaren in the Constructors' Championship, but at the end of practice it was the same old story, with McLaren up front on the grid. In pole position, it's world champion Ayrton Senna, last year's winner, starting there for the 31st time. Alain Prost, already a 2-times winner here at Imola and 2nd last year. The San Marino Grand Prix is go. Senna leads, Prost 2nd, Mansell 3rd, Berger in 4th position, and Patrese now. Already the 2 Ferraris are jostling with Patrese.
Very short red light then before we got to the green, and Mansell is having a look down the inside of Prost, got a wheel on the grass there. But a clean start. Everybody's leading away. Then a toughest sprinter. Although Ferrari will be quite proud. And big problems. That was something broken on the car for sure. Big crash by Berger. Without any doubt, it went straight on.
And oh heavens above! This is dreadful. This is the. There are no words that can add to this appalling picture. A car off. And thank heavens there is a fire tender on the spot immediately. The drivers at least have pure air piped through to their helmets due to a special valve, and the fire is out. There is some relief. Now they must keep those those fire extinguishers going. Pit, he has confirmed with the Ferrari management. He's gone out to his car in his crash helmet, and I'm happy to confirm that what Steve Ryder said about Gerhard Berger is correct. It would appear that we are now going to have a 58-lap race. For the second time, go! And Prost leads away, Senna second, Patrese up to third, Mansell momentarily back, now into fifth position, because the Benetton has gone forward and Derek Warwick is well up.
And that is very significant for the in-house McLaren race, that Prost made a fabulous start, but Senna is attacking, and he's got the inside line for the corner. And Senna outbreaks Prost at the end of the drag away from the start.
Race leader, there he is, Ayrton Senna. Now, how far behind Senna is Alain Prost? You can see there is the answer. And Prost, in his usual smooth and unruffled way, is inexorably gaining. The gap now is just over 1 second.
Yes, over the last 3 laps, Prost has been the quickest car on the circuit, and he's caught pretty much right up with Senna. There you see the fastest lap of the race so far, credited to Alain Prost.
And Prost is climbing up onto the gearbox very shortly of Ayrton Senna's McLaren Honda. And this is certainly confirmation of the fact that Alain Prost, 35 times a Grand Prix winner in this Grand Prix, has lost absolutely none of his motivation. And this is his 137th Grand Prix. Into the Aqua Minerale and out. The 2 McLaren Hondas, Senna leads, Prost second.
Yes, I certainly confirm that. Prost is really a different animal to the one he was this time a year ago. His motivation is now as strong, if not stronger than ever, and believe you me, he feels that he can beat Senna for the championship this year, and he's going to do everything he possibly can to do it.
Second lead on aggregate, he will be getting his pit signals and radio signals. Oh, Prost spins out! Alain Prost spins right out. Now, this is going to blow things wide open, but he manages to keep motoring. He had some momentum, kept the car going on the grass, and that was a masterly bit of thinking.
It's a very rare mistake. We don't often see Prosty spinning like...
The checkered flag is readied, and Ayrton Senna comes out of the last corner, crosses the line, raises his hand laconically, and there is the checkered flag.
Yes, once again, all too easy for McLarens, but a good battle between the 2 McLaren drivers until what we think appeared to be brake problems for Alain Prost, at which point he abdicated from the battle, settled for second place.
On the rostrum, however, all was not well. The Cold War had restarted. Prost was livid with Senna for having broken that agreement that the pair had over the first corner. Whoever led would not be overtaken by second man. Senna's overtaking manoeuvre clearly knocked that agreement.
The whole story. I was very angry because we had an agreement with Ayrton. We had this kind of agreement very often with Nicky and KK and a lot of drivers in the team. And we had also this kind of agreement many times last year, saying that the one we would take the best start won't be attacked by the teammate before the first corner. And we arranged something that, I mean, the one leading could stay on the right and take the best line. And I was very upset because Ayrton overtook me, and I could not believe, you know, I was on the right side and I could not believe. And I think it makes the race very difficult for me because I did a very good start and we were very close on performance, and the one leading the race at the first corner had a big chance to win. And I was, and I proved of the time in the race, I was a little bit quicker than him, but it was very difficult to stay behind and to overtake. But more than that, it's a human side of the problem. It makes me very angry because I've always been very honest with my teammates. I've done everything I could for the team, and I look like, I don't know the name, but I felt very bad.
Alain Prost was just one of the spinners on this slippery circuit. Later, he would damage a monocoque for the first time since he joined McLaren. Weidler, Modena, Warwick, Alio, Cheever and Moreno also damaged their cars. Heading his teammate, however, was Ayrton Senna, who claimed the 34th pole position of his career, which beat the previous record held by the late Tim Clark. How did Ayrton feel about this feat?
Naturally, of course, it's not every day that you can beat Jimmy Clark record that was there for over 20 years.
Alain Prost was happy to share the rostrum with Riccardo Patrese and Eddie Cheever, but did he think that he could have beaten teammate Senna?
It depends how he was driving, because the first few laps we were very slow, but I know it's the kind of tactic he has, you know, he wants to go slow and maybe like this have a brake problem or engine temperature problem. But then I had to go back anyway. I had to lift back because my engine was too hot. I had about 118 degrees on water temperature and 135 on oil. It was too much and I lost a little bit of power. Then I went back and then the engine started to run okay. It was quite easy, but I chose hard tires. He had chosen the soft tires. And I think maybe at the second part of the race, the ending of my car was better and better as soon as the track started to be quicker. So I don't know what can happen, but I was quite good, much better than I was last week in Mexico.
I've decided, and after very long discussion with Ron and Mansell and the sponsors, that I'm not going to drive for McLaren next year. It is very important to say today that I had 6 years fantastic on the racing point of view, on the human point of view too. So that's why we organize this press conference today. We want to live, I mean, in a very good manner, so with a lot of dignity. There will never be a problem between McLaren and Alain Prost.
Last night I had a real bad dream, baby left me. Last night I had a real bad dream, baby left me. Yeah, last night I had a real bad dream and you left me, baby. You didn't have a single word to say, you just walked away. You just walked away. Sit around and wait.
This time they announced that Alain Prost would be joining them in 1990. But was it Prost's only option?
That's for sure the best choice, and that was the only choice except Williams and Renault. But it was very different objective, different feeling. I think it's the only choice I had ready to leave McLaren.
What reaction did you hope for from McLaren?
It's difficult to tell because you never know the reaction of the people. The reaction, I think, I expect the same support, but I don't think it can be possible.
So you and Nigel are going to constitute a pretty strong team, aren't you?
Yeah, I hope it's strong. I hope it's nice. You know, I mean, I know it can be very nice with Nigel, no problem.
Now let's come in with Nigel Mansell.
Yeah, this was the point. Nigel Mansell about to commit a grave error, a large misdemeanor. He locked up there, missed his pit, and selected reverse before his pit crew could stop him. Totally illegal, of course, and reverses up to that pit stop wheel change area demarked by the Ferrari tape on the floor.
And the pit stop going quite cleanly. There was no problem with the pit stop itself once they actually got going. The man with the lollipop stick, who had earlier told Mansell not to put it in reverse, but Mansell back out on the track in 4th spot. Mansell then got up right behind Ayrton Senna. They were running 2nd and 3rd, and this really was the battle. And Mansell was trying very, very hard to overtake the McLaren driver, and consequently claims that he did not see this flag, the black flag, which was being shown to haul him out of the race. And then came this controversial incident.
Right up Senna's wing.
And Mansell is trying to go through, goes off, both of them. Senna and Mansell, and Senna's out of the race. His right rear wheel is cocking right up in the air. And so that's the answer for Nigel Mansell. He was right to stay out. Now Berger is away on his own now. And Senna again. Let's see if this replay. Here it is.
Mansell, a very desperate attempt, but he's got to see the black flag as well. Senna, I think Mansell was alongside him. Senna, without any doubt, caused that. To my mind, I'd like to see it again, but Senna just need to move in when Mansell was filling the road inside him. That was quite clearly down Senna, and that may, I'm sure, that could well cost Senna the World Championship.
I believe, first of all, having done the pit stop that he did, he knew he was out. Because you just cannot make reverse on the pit, simple as that. It's totally unacceptable that no flag sign, no pit board sign, no radio communication had been identified or have been heard. Therefore, for me, it was clearly that he was aware he was out. And at the incident time, I could not believe what took place because I was not aware of the disqualifying. Therefore, I could not understand why he did what he did. Once I walked back to the piste and I acknowledged that he was disqualified, everything became too clear to me, which was a shame and was annoying, but it was too late. The only reason I can understand that he did what he did, it was because simply he was out of the race. Therefore, just go for it, and it doesn't matter what happens with anybody.
So victory for Ayrton Senna then in one of the less exciting Spanish Grand Prix. Alesi hung on to 4th place. Alio scored the first point for the Lola Lamborghini team. But this was really a potboiler of a result, one that kept everyone's chances alive. To win the series, however, Senna now had to win the next 2 races as well. How did he feel about this sort of pressure?
Yeah, sure, Japan is going to be tough. It was tough last year and it can only be the same this year, and Australia too. But I have nothing to lose, and I have 2-3 weeks which I hope to rest and prepare myself again a bit more for Japan like I did last year, and we wait and see.
I mean, I could rest much harder today, but there's no point to overtake any car on this track. I mean, the guy leading, if you don't miss a gear, if you don't have any problem, you can't overtake. No way. So I knew that. I know this track very well, so there's no point to rest harder, because I could lose my 3rd place. And now, because I have all the results, all the points, then I can push harder in the next 2 races. Then, because even if I don't finish, it doesn't make any difference.
That V10 really screaming, a fabulous noise, and using all the track up on the curbs, bouncing off on the curbs, under the Shell Bridge towards the Casio Triangle, very, very hard on the brakes. It's a right and a left, and back onto the start, finish straight.
That put Senna on pole position, but how did Ron Dennis see the rules of this duel between his 2 drivers?
The most important thing, irrespective of the result, is to go away thinking that you've done the best you can, and at the moment things are going reasonably well, but I hope I have one of those rare smiles on my face this time tomorrow.
Would you prefer the championship to be settled now so that pressure is off, or how do you feel about it?
No, I want the championship just to be finished with everybody feeling comfortable about it, and whether it's here, whether it's Adelaide, really doesn't matter. The most important thing is that we're seen to be equal and honest.
A huge crowd then to watch this penultimate round of the series, and more importantly, to watch Senna try and maintain his chances in the face of teammate Alain Prost.
Leading the World Championship, 2nd on the grid. The grid is clear of people, less than 7 seconds. And they get away very quickly indeed, extremely quickly, and a beautiful start by Alain Prost, who goes into the lead, with Berger coming up behind Senna. So it is Prost leading, Senna 2nd, Berger in 3rd position, Alessandro Nannini up in the 4th place.
Different man today, and he's very tough, but this race is by no means over yet. Prost only 4.5 seconds ahead, tyre stops to come.
And Prost really has got his dander up in this race. Senna has still got the parcel.
And Prost in the pits. Certainly, he had a little bit, he was on the streets. Senna really got a little bit held up by any leader. Prost through the chicane, which is there to slow the cars down. Stop him on his mark. That's a very good stop indeed. Prost a little bit slow on letting the touch out, but better to do it right and stall the engine, and Senna will have to have a really exceptional pit stop to get rid of Alain Prost. And here's Alain Prost. Senna going to the pits through that little chicane. Prost will be completing his lap, or coming to chicane about Prost went past just as they were dropping Senna's car off the jack, so Prost is going to have at least a 6 or 7 second lead.
And look at that, Senna now right with Alain Prost on lap 40, and Prost has got somebody in front of him that he's got to lap. This could be Ayrton Senna's opportunity to take the lead and the World Championship chance at the same time. Now Prost is past. It was Eddie Cheever that they have both lapped, and now for the first time we see the 2 McLarens absolutely together, and you're looking at Alain Prost car ahead from the camera of Ayrton Senna's McLaren Honda on lap 41 in this 53-lap race, and now it's going to be really enthralling because Alain Prost can see the McLaren Honda of Senna big in his mirrors.
It's getting early on the power and an anxious McLaren team. And Senna again closer than ever before.
This is Alain Prost, 150th racer. He has had experience of just about every situation, including this one. The situation of being in the lead with the second place man treading on his rear wheels almost, and having to resist that pressure, keep his racing line, not go wide. They meet! This is what we were fearing might happen during the race, and that means to say that Prost has won the World Championship. Alain Prost, World Champion of 1989.
Well, and just look at this, because Ayrton Senna, who can get going again, but he's been pushed, that's outside assistance. And I'm afraid to say that that is all over for Ayrton Senna, and it was his own fault because of the slow corner. He wasn't past Prost, and he went into a gap, and Prost had every right to turn into him now. And I'm afraid that the self-inflicted Senna is not going again. He's back on the track, and he will for sure be disqualified for receiving a push start.
Senna with this twisted nose cone and very dodgy handling, and it's coming to pieces. He's going to have to come into the pits to have it replaced. He goes off, he's lost downforce, of course, and that dramatically affects adversely the handling of the car. No wings on either side. Yes, indeed he will, and the question then will be, can Ayrton Senna with this new nose cone, depending on what the position is, either regain the lead or retain the lead? Well, we're watching now for Nannini. Alessandro Nannini leads the Japanese Grand Prix as Ayrton Senna leaves the pit lane. And my guess is, and it's very much a guess, that Senna, in the mood that he's in now, on lap 48, will catch and pass lap 49. Can catch and pass Nannini, and then win the World Championship if he wins in Australia. He's going to try and go through into the lane, and this is lap 51, 2 laps to go, and the end of this one, each lap of 3 and through. Now, Nannini smokes up, Ayrton Senna leads at the conclusion of lap 51 in this absolutely riveting Japanese Grand Prix with 2 laps to go, notwithstanding that he's gone into Prost and a new nose cone.
Ayrton Senna then heading for the checkered flag, and of course victory here would keep his championship hopes alive. He of course was delighted, but the podium ceremony was delayed while the stewards deliberated as to whether he should be acclaimed a popular winner. They were unhappy about the incident with Prost, who had already made his feelings known, and also about the way in which Senna had rejoined down the escape road. Many had thought that Senna had done more than enough to win the race, to keep his championship hopes alive. But in actual fact, it was Alessandro Nannini who was acclaimed a first-time winner from the Williams boys. Senna was thrown out. This gave Alain Prost his 3rd World Championship, but he was somewhat guarded in his celebration. Is this the way he thought the World Championship would turn out?
To be very honest, you know, I was absolutely sure that I'm going to win the race, and or an accident like this, because I knew that he wanted to win absolutely. And you know, the problem with Ayrton, he can't accept that. He can't accept not to win, and he can't accept that somebody resists by an overtaking maneuver. And a lot of times, if you remember last year and this year, I opened the door, and if I did not open the door, we would have crashed like this. And I said before the race, if that happened, I don't open the door anymore. You know, and that happened. The stress was absolutely unbelievable this year, and I had my worst year in Formula One, and I learned a lot this year, especially on the human side. But I know that, like my friend Joe, I have a lot of friends still at McLaren, maybe not everybody, but I'm quite happy also for my mechanics, for the team, and but to be very honest, I mean, I'm quite happy to leave, because I think it becomes absolutely impossible to work with Ayrton, and that's a good end of championship.
Ayrton Senna was devastated, pondering the future and all its aspects in his solitude. Ron Dennis, while congratulating one of his drivers on winning the World Championship, was then called upon by the other to present an appeal to the FIA in Paris later that same week. No one had ever won an appeal, and McLaren were no more successful than the rest. And FISA President Jean-Marie Balestre imposed a further 6-month suspended ban on Senna, plus a $100,000 fine. Senna had also done some soul-searching, as he explained at another press conference.
So many things have gone through my mind. But as I said before, I am a professional, I have a responsibility, and I'm also a human being, and the values I have in my life are stronger than any other people's desire to influence those values and to destroy those values. I refuse to walk away from the fight. It's my nature to go right to the end, and that's what I'm going to do.
A very uneasy peace in the championship, for during the bleak recent days had Senna genuinely considered quitting Formula One.
I have not only considered, I have put forward a proposal on the last minute this month in February that I was prepared to stop in order that all the parties involved, as far as McLaren was concerned and Honda and all the sponsors, would have automatically end on this dispute, and everything will be quiet. The other option was to go on and fight, but I present those two options both to Ron Dennis and to Mr. Kawamoto, the Vice President of Honda, for them to decide, to make the decision, and whichever was their decision, I would go along completely in peace.
Your instinct is to go on and fight, though?
Of course, my instinct is to go and fight, because I think it's in my personality, my character, that if you believe in something, if you have principles, you go to it right to the end. And until everything is not over, you don't give up.
Prost has left Senna and McLaren to join Ferrari and new teammate Nigel Mansell.
It's very clear. I always said that there is in fact two objectives. The first one is to help Ferrari to be world champion, and the second objective is Ferrari is world champion. I would like to be the world champion, but if it's not me, I hope it's Nigel.
but it had been a tremendous scrap for the lead, and Alesi had shown true star quality. But Senna had enjoyed one of the best Formula One dices for years.
We had a good goal in the first opportunity, and he was very fair. But then I wasn't expecting him going through the outside on the dirty, because it would make very dangerous for him the next corner with the dirty on the tires. And when I saw him there, I had just to open and let him go, because I expect him with trouble with grip with the tires being dirty. And I think just as well I did that, and we still fight again. It was very exciting. It was enjoyable, because I think it was a clean fight and exciting one, right on the limit. And in those situations is where I get my enjoyment from my profession.
McLaren leads McLaren. There's nothing novel about that. And it looks as though the McLarens once again are going to be invincible. They've got two of the best four drivers. They've got one of the two best engines in the Honda. The McLaren chassis is absolutely magnificent, and the organisation is superlatively good. So I hate to say it, but it looks as though Mexico is going to be yet another McLaren demonstration, because look, there is nobody even in sight behind Senna and Berger, first and second, and in the championship it's the same situation. Senna leading Berger by 12 points, and they go into a new lap. Here is Boutsen, followed by Patrese, with Nigel Mansell right up his exhaust pipe, and Prost gaining on Mansell, who is in 5th position. So it is leading Senna, 2nd Piquet, 3rd Boutsen, 4th Patrese, 5th Mansell, there he is, 6th Prost. It's developing into a great Mexican Grand Prix.
Quite clearly the Ferraris are going very, very well in race trim. Quickest cars on the circuit when they're on their own, but with all this traffic, Senna's through, and Mansell ducks in. He died inside Patrese, and Mansell's through. Sorry, Prost. Prost goes inside Patrese, I beg your pardon. And at last, Alain Prost can resume his chase of the leaders.
And the fastest man on the circuit now is Alain Prost, who has just gone round in 1 minute 18.8. That is the first lap under 1 minute 19. There is the Frenchman. He is catching Nelson Piquet in front of him, who is in 3rd position. We have the prospect of Ferraris being 2nd and 3rd before very much longer. There's the confirmation. 125.3 miles an hour. Alain Prost is on his way.
Yes, and Prost really has been the quickest man on the circuit when he's had a clear run and not been racing somebody and held up since about lap 20. And Senna lost a little bit of his lead to Mansell, and that was probably traffic. Of course, the gaps jump up and down a bit, but Prost in 3rd place is now charging hard, trying to close down Mansell's lead on him, and Senna diving inside the back marker, who gave him the space. They actually pulled a second off Ayrton Senna on that lap when Mansell was being held up. Now, I would think that Senna was being held up as well, but if he had a 100% healthy car, and Prost is getting alongside, he's tucked in behind Mansell again, and Prost going for the inside. And Alain Prost takes his teammate. That was a bit hard on Mansell. He was a little bit tied in the traffic. So, swap races, the two Ferraris, very evenly matched, and still 9.5 seconds behind Ayrton Senna. Prost now pressing, but he'll have to let Senna go through the quick one first. You can't pass into that. Now, let's have a look at the straight line speed of the Ferrari compared with the McLaren. Mansell right there now, because Senna is, if anything, holding Prost up. Prost had passed and pulled away a little bit from Mansell, and look at this. Now, Prost is going to be very keen. Prost diving inside. Senna, I'm sure, is in tire trouble, and Alain Prost goes through on board with Ayrton Senna now. But Senna definitely struggling for grip. Prost will be happy to have him protecting Mansell, but he will want Mansell to pass for 2nd place, because he'll want that the extra 2 points taken away from Senna.
Alain Prost leads, Senna in second place, Nigel Mansell in third position. Fourth now is Berger. In fifth position it's Nannini. In sixth place it is Boutsen, followed by seventh LAC, and in eighth position it's Nelson Piquet. And that's a McLaren with a tyre problem, and it's Senna. Senna is out of the Mexican Grand Prix, and this is lap 64.
Yes, and I think the tyres are just starting to wear out, because when we saw Mansell pull away from that spin, I didn't like the look of Mansell's right rear tyre either.
Yes, and remember Mansell and Berger at Imola. Mansell wasn't at all pleased with the Austrian there when Berger made him spin, and here is Alain Prost, the world champion, winning in Mexico. Alain Prost wins for Ferrari, and it looks as though Mansell is going to be second.
Yes, tremendous drive by Alain Prost.
After this morning warm-up, I expected to do a good race, because I felt that the car was quite good, but I could not expect to win the race, and it was really fantastic for me.
Alain Prost had been fourth after the first day, but despite being delayed by traffic, he moved into first place with a blistering lap of 1 minute 22.9 with 5 minutes of the session left, and sent the Tifosi wild with delight. But he'd forgotten his Brazilian mate's perfect timing when it comes to qualifying laps. With just minutes left to run, he claimed the 49th pole of his career with a time nearly half a second inside Prost, and that after a morning spent mostly in the pits.
So, the red, and then less than 7 seconds the green for the second start of the 1990 Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Go! Senna's done it again. Prost hasn't made the same mistake. He cuts in front of Gerhard Berger, who has to move across and sprints up again alongside Prost and past him. So Berger's done it again, as he did on the first start, and it's Senna, Berger, Prost, Alesi is fourth, Mansell is fifth, Boutsen is in 7th place behind Patrese, his teammate who got ahead of him. They are all through the Rettifilo. That's the double chicane. Round the Curva Grande again, up to the Rugia, now up to the Lesmo bends, and Alesi is again going through into third position, sprinting past Prost Ferrari.
So Senna still leads, and Alesi loses it. Alesi, a mistake from Alesi. Now, has he damaged that right rear? Just brushed the barrier? Probably not, but it looks to me as if he stalled the engine anyway.
1/5 distance.
Yes, well, the three leaders now are very much locked in combat. Prost there to cover anything, and I would think that if Prost is aware, which he may or may not be, of the compounds that the two McLarens are running, if he is aware of that, I would think he'd be much more worried about Gerhard Berger at the moment than Ayrton Senna. Berger is still pressing Senna, still looking for a way round, and it would seem that the harder compound with the heavy cars and everything seems at the moment would appear to be the choice.
Racing of 1990 with Nannini 3 seconds behind Mansell now, powered by the Ford V8 engine, and there is Prost through, so he's done it at last.
Yes, and looked, I think Berger must be in trouble because Prost seemed to go through without any sort of a fight, unless Berger missed a gear, because he's certainly holding up with Prost now, so maybe out of the chicane as they went into Lesmo, it's
for something to happen to the McLarens to the advantage of the Ferraris, and it certainly doesn't look as though that is going to happen, because once again Ayrton Senna has done it. He is demonstrating, he's giving a vote of confidence in his tyres by keeping up that lap record braking pace of his lap after lap. It may be a 1/10 of a second faster, quotes only, close quotes, than the previous lap, but that is a considerable achievement and demonstrates that his tyres are very healthy indeed. 8.5 seconds now.
He has worked hard for this race, the team have worked extremely hard, and he has now put the World Championship very much in his grasp. He would have to have extreme bad luck to lose it now, because Prost has got an awful lot of points to make up. So Ayrton Senna wins.
Over the line to win the Italian Grand Prix.
I had so many problems yesterday. I wasn't able to do any running, any setup, which was vital for today's result. So I had only this morning to try to get the car as good as possible and then make the tire choice, the right one, and get everything right, because at the level of the championship we are running, you gotta have everything right. So it was a lot of unknown, but of course it was a great victory.
The car was quite good at the beginning, but as usual, and this time I was behind Gerhard. It was difficult behind him because I made a choice with a with the hard tire, with A, and I don't think it was a good choice. And behind him I was sliding too much, so I think I blistered the tires. And then I had a big vibration, especially at the end. It was not possible to push harder. Every time I was pushing, it was worse.
The clean line on the racetrack is to the right of your screen, where Prost will start the Ferrari. Enjoy the race. We'll be with you in a moment. Alesi locking him up and spinning into the dirt. He'll have a tough time getting out of there. Alesi made contact, I think, with Riccardo Patrese's car, drove him on the grass. We have other cars on the grass in the background. Patrese in the middle, following his teammate Terry Boutsen. Up front, it is McLaren, followed by Ferrari. Up front, working lap 24 of 73, it is Senna, Prost, Boutsen, Piquet, Mansell. Alboreto is now a lap down. Now you're on board with Alain Prost looking ahead at the leader. You get the sense that there is perhaps a little con game going on here. Neither driver wants to pit. No, dead right. And it will become a battle of the pit crews. Both teams had very quick early stops. I'd give the edge to McLaren, who got Berger out faster than Ferrari was able to get Mansell out. And that could spell the difference in this race. Racetrack is being built in the Barcelona area for 1992. And that's going to be an interesting story to watch develop. Incredibly fast right here. 160 miles an hour. Prost will pit. Sharp left-hander. Now let's see how quickly he goes down the pit lane with people everywhere. say, John?
This could be a world champion pit stop here. If it goes well, Alain Prost may have an advantage going back on. The car's in the air. All four down. Trackman out in front of the car away. A very, very quick spot, and Gary Booth.
Coming through the last two right-hand sweeps now. This is when I would expect him to make his stop. Oh, God, that's what he doesn't need. Yes, here he goes. Again, just look at the speed of this car down the pit lane.
Here comes Senna to you, John.
Senna is coming to me. He's right in front of me now, the yellow helmet of the Brazilian, trying for this world championship. Every man here wanting that world championship, and the team did its part. That was a very quick pit stop. Congratulations, McLaren guys. No problem whatsoever.
And there goes Alain Prost past, and Nigel Mansell slows. Is he playing blocking back?
I don't think so. I think he had a problem. Gosh, that was just one of those things where everything happened at once.
There from Prost's car as he slides past. Then Nigel chopped straight across behind him and almost took out Ayrton Senna. But Senna never looked back for a moment, drove right back underneath Mansell, and resumed in second place.
The gap reduced considerably now to Prost, but of course there you see smoke pouring out of the right front of Senna's car. That explains he's probably got a brake problem.
I think it's an engine problem. The engine is going away on Senna's car. Andre de Cesaris brings the Dallara in. But the real drama is up in second place. Ayrton Senna is in grave danger, it would appear, of coming out of this race with no points at all. And as I say, of course, the smoke disappears. There it is again, but by the right rear wheel. Mansell holding station. I would think he might want to drop back a little bit. Oh, there must be fluid coming out. Senna can't keep the car going. He waves Mansell by on the right side.
Well, Senna's day is done by the look of things.
He's going to climb right down in front of Nannini.
He doesn't seem to think it is done. I can't believe he can't see all that stuff coming out. Maybe he can't.
That looks much like what happened to him at Monza last year when fluid started to come out of the side, and the next thing he knew, he snap-spun it in the final crowd in Modena, and Senna has parked it. I believe he's at the start-finish line. He's on the pit exit. And that has a tremendous impact on the points. He will score no points today. If Alain Prost can carry on and win, the gap will be cut in half from 18 to 9 points with 2 races to go.
The whole Ferrari pit crew exiting en masse to the pit wall to give Prost the thumbs up.
The bells will ring in the church steeples in Maranello. It is a Ferrari 1-2, and despite all of the bad words bitten back and forth in the newspapers over the last week, it has been a splendid week for Ferrari as Alain Prost follows teammate Nigel Mansell's victory in Portugal with one of his own a week later in Spain.
All of a sudden, Prost was back in the frame, just 9 points behind, needing to win the last 2 races. McLaren were back under pressure, but Prost was happy with Ferrari's strategy.
We have done a very good team race today. Drivers and the team itself, mechanics, good pit stop. They stopped Nigel at the right moment. Maybe McLaren did not know what to do exactly about the tire stop. And we have planned to stop early if I was second. And everything works very well. And Nigel helped me quite a lot because when I was just behind him, he let me go. And that helped my race was much easier like this, and I'm very happy about today. After the problems last week, I think it's a big, good change.
Japan is a place where I have the biggest number of fans after Brazil, and it's a special atmosphere here, and championships have been decided here over the past few years, and hopefully another one will be decided here.
And the hot news from Suzuka is that Ayrton Senna, and there he is starting from the right-hand side of the grid, much to his annoyance. The right-hand side is pole position, and the track is dirty there. Senna asked for the pole position to be changed from the left to the left. His request was refused, and the result is that Alain Prost starting from second on the grid on the left-hand side, is actually going to have a start advantage at a circuit where passing is virtually impossible, except at the notorious chicane where Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna, both in McLarens last year, collided, and we all know what happened subsequently. Ayrton Senna went on to win the race only to be disqualified. Prost and Senna have made up their feud now, and we are waiting for the start of this 53-lap race. On the left is Ayrton Senna, on the right is Alain Prost, behind Senna is Mansell, behind Prost is Berger, the grid is clear, the lights go! And Senna sprints away, but Alain Prost takes the lead. It's happened. Alain Prost has taken the advantage. Senna is trying to go through on the inside, and it's happened immediately. This is amazing. Senna goes off at the first corner, but what has happened to Prost? He has gone off too. Well, that is amazing, but I fear absolutely predictable.
Yes, and that makes Ayrton Senna world champion this year. So Ayrton Senna now with Prost not finishing the race quite clearly. He's out of his car, stuck in the gravel pit. That, I'm afraid to say, is the end of this year's Drivers' World Championship in favour of Ayrton Senna. There's Prost running back, but it's all over for him.
It's over. I think for sure I want to win the race today, in the same way I won in '88 to win the championship. Unfortunately, it went wrong on the first corner. There was a big risk. I had nothing to lose on the first corner. I want to win, and I went for a gap in inside on the first corner. Alain didn't see it and just closed the door, and we ended up touching. That's too bad for the championship, because I'm sure the race would have been full of excitement. But last year I lost in a similar manner towards the end of the race instead of the beginning, and this year went wrong for him. In a race like this, where you're fighting for the championship, you have to go for everything. And as it happened in many other occasions in the past, there have been accidents in the first corner. I was on pole. Prost did a better start, but on the first corner I was coming faster than him. I had a better engine acceleration, and there was a gap. I went for it. He closed the door, and then was nothing I could do to avoid the contact. If he had not closed the door, nothing would have happened, and we would have continued racing. But unfortunately, he closed the door, and I could not avoid the contact.
You've had 2 weeks to think about it. Do you think that he deliberately crashed into you?
Absolutely, 100%. And I have, you know, a video here from the helicopter. I have the video from some people. I think it's very bad, you know, to try to prove the things. But I am a racing driver, a lot of experience, and I never lie. I never lie to the press. I mean, very often it was against me, because I said things were a bit rude, a bit difficult to understand for a lot of people. But I never lie, and I can tell you he has done 100% deliberately. That's what I don't accept. If there were only 1% chance, I would say, okay, there is a doubt, but it's not even 1%, because it was a corner where I'm flat, you know, in 5th gear, and the only way he could do something, he cut the corner and he hit my wing, the rear wing. So in fact, he did not hit the right wheel or the middle of the car, he hit my rear wing without touching the wheels. That means he just pushed me behind. So, and then from this time, I don't want to speak anymore about that, you know, because it's no value for me, no value for the sport, for the team, for the Formula One, and I think it's very bad.
Let me ask you another difficult question. If I were to count back all the world champions, the number of times they had made contact with other drivers, that you in the last 36 months or 48 months have been in contact with more other cars and drivers than they might have done in total.
I find amazing for you to make such a question, Stuart, because you are very experienced and you know a lot about racing. And you should know that by being a racing driver, you are under risk all the time. And by being a racing driver means you are racing with other people. And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver, because we are competing. We are competing to win. And the main motivation to all of us is to compete for a victory. It's not to come 3rd, 4th, 5th or 6th. When there is a gap, it's designed for being in a competition at a very high level, with cars going so close as they go today, with the same horsepower, with the same level of grip, with the same load aerodynamic, you all know with the different circuits where it's very difficult for overtaking because the circuits are designed not in appropriate manner for overtaking maneuvers, you either commit yourself as a professional racing driver that is designed to win races, or you come second.
Just without ending, sitting, watching while consuming, pretending it's just fine, disillusioned by the noise, thinking you still have a choice, always praying, never straying from the line, stare at empty mirrors, looking for a sign, nothing but reflections of the faults that left you blind, calling for a savior to convince you it's alright, running from the consequence, you're wasting precious time, there's no one left to hide, there's no one left to hide, there's no one left to hide, so destructive, unrelenting, slowly dying, you're descending, waiting, hoping for an answer to make it out alive. Your deception left you cold, self-afflicted and alone. Stop pretending as you're fading towards the light. Stare at empty mirrors, looking for a sign. Nothing but reflections of the faults that left you blind. Calling for a savior to convince you it's alright. Running from the consequence, you're wasting precious time. There's no one left to hide. There's no one left to hide. There's no one left to hide. You are not who I thought you'd be. This perfect mess, a tragedy. Your vanity is blinding you. The darkest parts they filter through. There's no running away. There's no running.
I can't win the championship, but if I find him again the same way, if he's correct the same way, I push him out.
I think everyone knows Prost by now. He's always complaining either by the car or the tires or the team or the mechanics or the fuel or the other drivers or the circuit. It's always somebody else's blame. It's never his fault.
Empty mirrors, looking for a sign. Nothing but reflections of the faults that left you blind. Calling for a savior to convince you it's alright. Running from the consequence, you're wasting precious time. Stare at empty mirrors, looking for a sign. Nothing but reflections of the faults that left you blind. Calling for a savior to convince you it's alright. Running from the consequence, you're wasting precious time. There's no one left to hide. There's no one left to hide. There's no one left to hide.
We are upset because we've lost as Ferrari one of the best driver and the best test driver of the Formula One. The reason was the behavior of Alain Prost was not at the level that Ferrari would like for his top driver.
Ayrton, it was announced by Williams that Alain Prost had signed for them today, and there's mounting speculation that McLaren might get Renault engines. Would that help you change your mind about staying with McLaren for next year?
Well, I wouldn't be able to give you a short answer because it's far too complicated, everything. The one thing all I would say is that this is supposed to be a World Drivers' Championship. We had 2 fantastic championships, sport championships, last year and this year. And we had, in my opinion, 2 very bad ones in '89 and 1990. And they were a consequence of unbelievable politics going on and a bad behavior by some people. And I think now we are coming back to the same situation again. It's impossible to accept somebody to come to a team February in the year with a signed contract, veto myself and himself too, and eventually they change his side but stay with the veto on myself. And I think if Prost wants to be called the sole champion, 3 times world champion, come back in a sportive way, maybe win another championship, he should be sportive. The way he's doing, he's behaving like a coward.
A tantalising air of uncertainty surrounded the opening race of the 1993 season in South Africa. Although Ayrton Senna's overalls were ready for duty, it was uncertain whether the man himself would be there to fill them. At the end of the day, he did indeed take to the track at the wheel of the McLaren MP48, which had shown so much promise in pre-race testing. The ever-confident Ron Dennis expounded the McLaren team's strategy for 1993.
Contractual issues have become of secondary importance, and I'm quite optimistic that as the year unfolds you will see some very interesting tactics and strategies employed to hopefully win the World Championship.
Alain Prost strolled back into the Formula One fray, now taking over as new Williams team leader in place of Nigel Mansell. Firmly strapped into the cockpit of the new Williams FW15C, Alain quickly proved that it wouldn't take him long to get back in the groove.
They're going to make things very different. But the most significant thing here is that there's every prospect of a season of excitement and drama and real competition, because 3 times world champion Alain Prost is back to lead the Williams team after a year's sabbatical. And Ayrton Senna, who we feared might be taking a year off, is driving here in South Africa, driving an all-new McLaren Ford. And the 2 rivals, with 6 world championships between them in the last 8 years, are on the front row of the grid. Looking at Alain Prost now, whether Ayrton Senna goes on for the rest of the season remains to be seen. There's all sorts of negotiations going on behind the scenes. But in 3rd position on the grid is the young German genius, and I use the word advisedly, 23-year-old Michael Schumacher in the Benetton Ford. Away they go. Senna's got a superb start. Schumacher comes up. Damon Hill is into 3rd position as they go into the first left corner, and Senna's done it. Ayrton Senna has got ahead, and look at that, a complete spin by Alain Prost. He's overdone it, and Damon Hill spins there. Prost goes through, Andretti's been left on the start. There he is. Through goes Ayrton Senna to complete another lap, and the gap between him and Michael Schumacher is now pretty static. It's about 2 seconds. Alain Prost in 3rd place, and he's gone faster again, so Prost has got the bit between his teeth. He's fighting back.
And the leading 3 now all together. Senna will not be rattled by this situation. He knows full well that without a mistake by him, there is really no chance, or no real chance, for Schumacher to get past, and he's protecting him from Prost as well. Who is
give it half a dozen laps, see if he can find a way by, then maybe take a breather and have a try again. But of course this is more than just a battle between McLaren and Benetton. This is a battle between co-users of Ford engines. And Prost getting right onto Schumacher's tail, but Schumacher's got the inside line. And Prost is through. Prost has made it. And that was Renault Power that did that for Alain Prost. He came very cleanly out of the hairpin, but he just powered his way past. Now Senna will have seen that in his mirror. But yes, that was a bit over-ambitious by Zanardi, and he locked his brake. And once the brake's locked, you lose braking effect, and he had nowhere to go but to slide into Phil Williams. Disappointing debut for Williams as Prost gets inside Senna. Senna slams the door right across Prost's bows.
Past Damon Hill's broken Williams, past Zanardi's broken Lotus, and now Prost is going for it. Right up alongside Ayrton Senna, who just moves across casually, blocks Alain Prost. And look at that. Two British drivers, 5th and 6th. In the Ligier. Now this is tremendously exciting and encouraging too. Watch Senna, Prost and Schumacher, and I will tell you that the reconstituted Ligier team, as Prost is now on the inside, this is his opportunity. Alain Prost leads the Grand Prix very briefly, only to lose the lead immediately again to Ayrton Senna. Magnificent scrap between the two best drivers in the race, and Schumacher's got nothing to be ashamed of either. I guess it's more likely to be Fabrizio Barbazza, yes it is Fabrizio Barbazza, who is out of the race incidentally.
And Prost having another go. Prost is alongside Senna, goes in front, and Prost is through. So Alain Prost takes the lead in the South African Grand Prix. Now, let's see what speed he's got to get away.
And did they touch? Here's a replay. Yes, they did. Well, it is... I always hate to apportion blame because only the people in the cockpit knew what happened. But from your point of view, James, would you say that there was any blame to either driver?
Well, I think Schumacher could be justified in feeling that he'd got enough inside Senna, maybe to have made Senna make room. But the problem is, you know who you're dealing with, and it was pretty predictable that Ayrton Senna would stick to his line and just come into the corner.
And as a spectacular thunderstorm doused the Kyalami circuit, Prost ran out an unchallenged winner in his first race for Williams, taking things carefully in the closing stages. While Prost was singing in the rain, Christian Fittipaldi and his father Wilson also celebrated a fine 4th place for Minardi. And it's just like old times, with Prost and Senna at each other's throat, and Blundell no doubt very happy with his third, with Sauber scoring points on their debut.
And Alain Prost will be very hopeful that it gets better. There is the 3 times world champion, the man who has won more Grand Prix and scored more Grand Prix World Championship points than anybody in the history of the sport. The first man to reach 500 points, the first man to reach 600 points, the first man to reach 700 points. 3 times world champion Ayrton Senna. Unarguably one of the greatest racing drivers of all time, driving the McLaren Ford. We've got so used to saying the McLaren Honda, but this year, of course, Ayrton Senna, 33 years old, from Sao Paulo in Brazil, which is where he won for the 2nd time his home Grand Prix 2 weeks ago, and he's driving in his 145th Grand Prix this year.
It will be from 4 to 7 seconds before the green and the start of the 76th lap. European hairpin, Senna is up to 3rd.
And after being crowded at the start, a quite brilliant couple of corners by Ayrton Senna. Tremendous stuff. He muscled his way back into the contention at Redgate.
He's passed Alain Prost, so the McLaren leads. Prost 2nd, Hill is 3rd, a tremendous gap between the 3rd and 4th car.
Yes, and that must be caused by the Andretti and Vendiger incident. We would assume that they may have had a coming together. We'll try and find out. Senna going away, but I expect that Damon Hill will be looking for a way past his team leader Alain Prost, who doesn't run 9.5 seconds. There are dry tyres with the Williams team. Are McLaren preparing for Senna. And Prost has gone in. Senna has stayed out. And I think Senna is covering Prost's move, and I strongly suspect that Senna will come in next time round. I'm sure that would be the right tactic anyway, not a minute too late. If anything, I thought Senna should have come in then, and a good quick stop by the Williams team, but Prost slow away. They had the car off the jacks very quickly, but he didn't make a very, very quick departure.
You can see the yellow line, and he's in. Ayrton Senna is coming in, and he was leading Prost by about 15 seconds, and the Brazilian comes up to the line now, and the Prost time was 7.12 seconds at the stop. Smooth stop, up goes the car on the jacks, off come the old wet tyres, on go the new slicks which have been preheated. Alain Prost is gaining all the time. Senna is longer than Prost already, much longer, much longer. I'm looking for Prost. Prost leads. Prost has gone through in the lead on lap 35. There he is into Redgate. Alain Prost leads the European Grand Prix as Ayrton Senna emerges from the pit lane, only just ahead of the battle between Rubens Barrichello and Damon Hill. Into the pits comes Damon Hill yet again.
It's Alain Prost in the pits. Alain Prost spotted the rain has started again, and Prost has gone straight on for tyres, didn't delay. So Prost in. Now what will Senna do? Senna, I think, stayed out. And the rain is quite heavy this time. Senna still out, but with the difficult decision to make now. 1:23.3, getting towards the time he did when it dried out earlier, and he put up the fastest lap so far of the race. He pulled 4 seconds nearly on Alain Prost on that lap. 25.2 seconds he leads by.
Do the opposite, and into the pits comes Prost. So for yet another set of tyres, Alain Prost comes in, and this of course is going to disadvantage him compared with Senna, who is already on the slick tyres, the dry tyres that Alain Prost is changing to. And even if it's a good stop, and it's not all that Brazilian, and he stalled it. Alain Prost has stalled it. And oh, this is losing the race for Alain Prost without a doubt, and it's giving Rubens Barrichello the opportunity to move up into second place with the Frenchman stuck in the pits. His engine not running, and the mechanics trying desperately to get the starter motor onto the back of the car, and
I think he's stuck in gear. I think he stalled it with the car in gear, and without power, it may be that he can't get it into neutral, and there's Damon Hill coming through into third place as Alain Prost finally gets going, and well, really, the race is already on, and Senna goes through a lap, so Senna laps Prost as he comes out of his pit.
Here is Ayrton Senna across the line, and it is victory for the Brazilian for the 38th time. The conditions may have deteriorated, but it was in conditions like this that Ayrton Senna won his first Grand Prix. Falls out comes the fist of victory, and Senna has got another 10 World Championship points. Let us keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best at Saint-Devote. It looks as though they're going to get them away pretty quickly. There are the lights. The red will go then in between 4 and 7 seconds. The green, the Monaco Grand Prix will be go for 78 laps. Schumacher ahead of Senna, and Hill right up alongside Ayrton Senna as they go into Saint-Devote. Hill Prost leads, behind him is Schumacher, and are they all round? Senna is in third position as they go round the Hotel de Paris and into Casino Square, and heaven be praised, we have got a clean start. Schumacher, Senna, Hill, Jean Alesi is in fifth position, Berger is in sixth place. Lowe's corner, Schumacher second in the Benetton, so it's Williams, Benetton, McLaren, Williams.
Yes, and already Prost and Schumacher seem to be edging away from Senna. Interesting, Schumacher appearing to be starting to mount a challenge to the all-conquering Williams, and Jonathan Martin has some urgent news for us in the pits.
Well, I've heard direct from Max Mosley from Caesars confirmed that Prost has been given a 10-second penalty for a jump start.
Well, how about that? Because I saw Prost creeping before the start, which is not normally penalised, and he definitely didn't drop the clutch and really go before the green. So I would think Williams may be wanting to argue about that, because it's, I would have said, on past performance, a very harsh decision indeed. Normally, decisions about jumping the starter fairly lax, and I think Prost would have reason to be disappointed with that decision. And Prost is in. Prost has come in now. I was just going to say maybe the Williams team are arguing the toss on this, because I certainly thought it was harsh. There he is, he's stationary, 10 seconds. Seems like an eternity to the driver, I'm sure. And he stalled it, and Prost has stalled the engine. He's had problems before getting the Williams Renault moving at the South African Grand Prix, and this is really a disaster for the Williams team.
Indeed it is, because Patrese already gone through and he's in 6th position, and Alain Prost has still not got the Williams Renault started. This is dreadful for the Frenchman, who was looking forward to winning the Monaco Grand Prix for the 5th time in his career, to equal Graham Hill's record. Now, is he going to get away? Yes, indeed he is. No, he stalled it again. I wonder if there's an electronic problem. He's shaking his head, sadly, is Alain Prost. This is a tremendously dramatic time, and I believe it's the clutch, because Alain Prost has had clutch problems getting away in several races this year. And if you remember, in the Spanish Grand Prix, Damon Hill got away in front of him, and Alain Prost was only 3rd away. He shakes his hands in despair, and now everybody has gone through. Thierry Boutsen, Michele Alboreto, who is 19th. We're riding with Michael Schumacher, the new leader, as Prost gets away. Now, he is a lap behind, because race leader Michael Schumacher is now on his 40. Armour is in 21st place, so he has already been lapped by Michael Schumacher. We're getting up towards half distance, and Schumacher is out of the Monaco Grand Prix, and Senna leads. What did I say? Don't ever underestimate Ayrton Senna. And on lap 33 out of 78, out goes Michael Schumacher with a 13-second lead and an exploded engine. Well, these are two of the greatest racing drivers of all time. Triple world champions, each of them. Senna having won here 5 times. Prost having won here 4 times. No one has won a Monaco Grand Prix other than those two since 1984, when Prost first won.
And a fine effort by Damon Hill. Really tremendous drive for his 2nd place. And entertainment for Jean Alesi.
Ayrton Senna crosses the line to win the 1993 Monaco Grand Prix, with Alain Prost following him home a lap adrift in 4th position, and you're seeing a new record holder, 6 times a winner here. He has eclipsed his own record, which he shared with Graham Hill.
Senna shared his unconcealed delight with his McLaren team colleagues before sharing the congratulations with 2nd and 3rd men, Hill and Alesi, to round off a truly memorable afternoon. The final European round of the championship was dominated by Alain Prost's decision to retire at the end of the season, opening the way for Ayrton Senna to leave McLaren and join Williams for '94.
I have a 2-year contract, and then I have a moment where in July I have a phone call from Frank and saying, oh, I need to talk to you, I have a big pressure from Renault, and I need to talk to you about something. I said, okay, Frank, I think I know what you want to talk about, but I am on holidays. I had 4 or 5 days holidays in my house. Okay, if the Renault people, they want to talk to me, they come to see me. You know? And in fact, he comes himself with his plane, comes see me and trying to explain to me that Renault, they are thinking of having Ayrton in the team with me the year after. So I said, okay. That is not fair. We have a contract. Even thinking about that is not fair in the middle of the season. So let's put it this way: let's wait a little bit, a few races, and we see what happens. I did not want to be a teammate with Ayrton again. I did not want to continue with this perception of the people saying, okay, you know, Ayrton is a poor guy with the small car, and Alain is, when he wins, it's normal because he has the best car. You know? I said, okay, you want Ayrton I understand very well, but you pay me the contract for the next year, and I stop. I did not want to stop. I really did not want to stop, but I had to see a situation going again, especially in your own country. Going in this direction again. I took my decision myself very quickly, but I wanted to tell them just one month, 2 months later, because I wanted to be a world champion. I did not want to lose the opportunity. When I saw that I was going to be world champion, I said, okay, you pay the contract, I stop. I have enough. Okay, that's what I have done. I did not want to stop. I stopped Formula One only because of that. Otherwise, I wanted to continue.
A battle between the past and future Grand Prix stars. Alain Prost will retire at the end of the year with his 4th World Championship, it would appear. Michael Schumacher just ahead. This is where Schumacher has been faster. Can't quite see here if he's been able to pull away.
That is the key corner, though. Prost is not close enough. He is not close enough. This Cosworth Ford V8 car, and I do believe they're building a new one, a BC V8 for next year is the rumor. But it does have enough horsepower to keep off this V10. 1 lap to go to see if Prost can make a move on Schumacher.
If the race ends right now, Prost is champion, but he must get to that checkered flag.
As much as 800 horsepower sometimes comes from this Renault V10. This is where he needs it. This is through the kink, his favorite position to try and go down the inside. Schumacher knows that. He will block him if necessary.
This time Schumacher stays to the right of the racetrack. Renault has another engine. They say they'll fire it up for the first time in November. Here comes Prost, looking down the inside. He wants this win.
Whoa.
Here they come. Uphill now, just a few corners remaining. A sharp right-hander.
And believe it or not, that was J.J. Leto on the Sauber who moved over and let the leaders go by. But this is where Schumacher has been very good. He's good through the S's. He's very good through the long right-hander. Prost is not close enough here.
Just a few hundred yards to go. He will not be caught now. Michael Schumacher, the Benetton team will be on the wall. The checkered flag is out. Schumacher takes his 2nd career Grand Prix victory. Alain Prost clinches his 4th championship. Only the legendary Juan Manuel Fangio of Argentina with 5 has more than Alain Prost. For a French flag to wave on his championship lap of victory. Alain Prost is the world champion. Let's get down to the pit lane where James Allen is standing by with team owner Frank Williams.
Frank Williams, your 2nd world championship in a row, your 2nd Constructors' Championship in a row, and what a great Grand Prix to do it with.
It was a wonderful motor race. Yeah, I'm very pleased for that. We maybe could have won the race, but we lost it all at the start of the race. We paid the price, but a wonderful result for the team and for Alain.
A word about Alain. What's he been as a driver?
I beg your pardon?
What's he been like as a driver for you?
Brilliant, brilliant driver. Okay.
Are you surprised at the way he's performed this year?
Not in any way. He's a 3 times world champion. Now he's 4 times world champion. You pay your money, you get your choice.
A fantastic race. You've made history.
It was a good race. It was a bit marginal sometimes, but I wanted to push. I wanted to win the race for my team, but for me, I wanted to win the championship. And I had to be careful not to do something silly. I was a bit quicker than, maybe much quicker on one lap than Michael, but it was very difficult to overtake. And even when we were behind cars about 2 or 3 seconds slower than us, we had problems to overtake. So it was too difficult. I'm quite happy about my second
From
place.
all your fans in America, Alain, very many congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's only now, now or never, now, now, forever, now, now or never, or never. It's only now, now or never, now, now, forever, now, now or never, or never.
When we arrived in Australia at the podium, I didn't want to ask him anything. And because it was his decision, he made it himself. That's him. We asked him to come, and he was happy because it was his decision. From the moment where I come to the podium with him, the whole thing changed completely. After I retired, that was completely the opposite. He was telling me things that just opened his heart, opened his problem, his voice, his personal life, and I was completely surprised because again I was not afraid, you know. But the whole thing became, you know, for everybody, our battle was huge, very important. For me, I could not understand Ayrton when he was racing driver, and at the end, I could not understand 100% of how he behaved as a human side.
Good evening. The former world motor racing champion Ayrton Senna has been pronounced clinically dead.
Good evening. Ayrton Senna, 3 times world motor racing champion, has died after crashing during the San Marino Grand Prix.
Kam heute auch Formel 1 Weltmeister Ayrton Senna auf dem Unglückskurs von Imola in San Marino ums Leben.
Send our thoughts and prayers to the family of Ayrton Senna and all his fans. He was a great racer, and it's a shame to see him go like he did. But,
I'm not sure if you're aware, but this is your 41st victory, which puts you in equal second all-time with Ayrton Senna. Do those records mean a lot to you?
Yes, it does mean a lot to me. Sorry.
You equalled your great hero Ayrton Senna to go second of all time in the pole positions. The Senna family wanted to give you something to congratulate you on equaling Ayrton's record. It's not a replica. It's race worn from your hero to you.
Fire and ice, I put it all on the line. It was worth it to me. I saw what we could be. Gave you my hand to hold. Didn't think you'd let go. When you lie in your bed and I'm stuck in your head. One day when you realize that it's really over. One day you wish that you had fought like a soldier for me, but I'll be a million miles from where we were. You're gonna know what you let go. But one day it's a little too late. Oh, it's a little too late. When our love hit a wall, always made it my fault. Never taking the blame, it was always the same. But when you see me somewhere and you can't get no air,